Hey friends, hello, welcome. Another one of our Slant Alpha adventures getting underway. I just realized that didn't zoom my face cam in, so I'm going to fix that real quick. Seeing way more of me than you ever intend to, but now you're going to see less of me, but at a closer range. So I'm not sure which is actually better, but alright, but there we go. That's a little better, I guess. There? We like you? Okay, we like you. Wearing my Valentine's red for you today. We are going to do a club event with the Virtual USA Flying Club. And this is actually a event that we've done on the stream a number of times. This is actually kind of what you might call my event. This is our revisit, our annual trek to Catalina Island for our Valentine's Day trek to Lover's Cove. The trip that has, over the years, unfortunately, become known as the Catalina Curse. The history of it is kind of checkered and long, and we've had lots and lots of different mishaps with it. But this time, I got invited by Mike, Jet Pilot Cinnamon, the founder of the Virtual USA Flying Club, to do an event in mid-February, and we were originally going to do like a make Rob sweat kind of thing. I was going to fire up a Delta Tower and have everybody fly in at one time and see how I handle it. And it would have been a good time, I'm sure, but looked at the date and I was like, oh man, Mike, this is going to coincide with my my annual trip out to Catalina. I got to kind of work that into the stream schedule somehow, and this is really the prime date to do it on. He's like, well, okay, what do you think about making that a club event? That's all right, cool, let's do that. So here we are. I'm going to be providing a briefing for the Virtual USA Flying Club here in just about 2 minutes, and we are normally very, very prompt with those club briefings. So, and we'll get started with that, and we will let you know what we're up to. In the meantime, we got some friends to say hi to in the chat. Bed Dave is here, and 3232 X-Ray here. Say again, Jim, Jet Pilot Cinnamon is here as well. Strudel has stopped by, and R6 Chavez is here. Our slant artwork adventure for the evening. We feed a description into ChatGPT, a one-sentence description into ChatGPT to have it create an image that is relevant to what we're doing that night. And we started with this, and then once I show you, you can cash in 500 of the Twitch channel points, aka the alphabets points. They're at the bottom of the chat panel, and you can then decide. Once I call your name, that puts you in the queue, and then once I call your name, you can let me know what you would like to do to add to this image or modify this image. This is our image for this evening. This is youngest furry co-pilot Keely. She's holding a little box of Valentine's Day chocolates as we're in the plane heading over to Catalina. So there she is, and you can let me know if you want to cash in 500 of the Twitch channel points. Strudel wants to get in on that right away. I'll tell you what, Strudel, I've got to do that briefing for the club here in about 45 seconds. So, before I get to your desired modification, let me take care of that. CB Flyer wants to get in on that too. Okay, we'll get to both of your guys' requests after I do the briefing for the club. So we will take care of that here in just a moment. But right now I'm going to get ready to start the briefing for the Virtual USA Flying Club. We've got the briefing document that we created for the club. Yeah, yeah. I've stopped even noticing it's there, but it's there. And it's a picture of Catalina Island and some other things in that image that you can look at if you want to. But we'll start with this briefing document. We'll go over it so the club knows what we're doing, and then we'll talk about. We'll come back and we'll talk about what we're doing on our stream tonight. Okay, can everybody hear me on the club?
Yes.
Okay, we are underway with our briefing for this evening. We are headed out to Catalina Island. We are working within the Los Angeles ARTCC on VATSIM. We do have VATSIM air traffic control coverage this evening, so we will have some fun talking with them and working our way. Mostly VFR. It is VFR weather, VMC conditions, so we should be able to get out here VFR, and that's the intent. However, if you're more comfortable filing, this is IFR, that is fine also. But either way, we do have air traffic control services from Los Angeles ARTCC if you should want to use them. But here's the trip, and a little bit of history of the trip is it's something I've done on the live stream every year. This is going to be the 8th annual one, and it just always turns into some sort of mishap or, weather problems. There's some pretty aggressive fog banks that tend to congregate around this island, so we've had some weather issues. We've had some sim glitches. My wife broke down on the road. I had to go fetch her in the middle of the stream one time. We've had just a number of different mishaps, so that's how the stream came to be, the event came to be, and so that's what we're kind of reenacting this evening, hopefully without the curse part. We'll see. So we are starting from wherever we want to start from. There's no really restriction on that. The goal is to arrive at Catalina somewhere around 9 o'clock Eastern time, but there's a window plus or minus 2 hours for club participation. So anytime from 16 minutes ago all the way up to, almost 4 hours from now is the arrival window. The catch is it's still light there now. The sun sets about 5:30 Pacific. In that area, but the real airport does not allow arrivals after dark. So to do it realistically, you might want to bump your sim time back a couple of hours, depending on when you're planning on getting there. But the real airport does not allow arrivals after 5:30. So you want to probably adhere to that, but that's really up to you. No one will really know. You do have to adhere to wind settings, pressure settings, and temperature settings, but you can adjust visibility if you would like to. That's up to you. The restrictions that we are adhering to for certain is that the real airport does not allow jets, so this is props and turboprops only, and the airport does not allow aircraft that exceed 12,500 pounds max takeoff weight. So we're talking, your light singles, light twins, that sort of thing. So we are going to adhere to that. So for club participation, please adhere to that aircraft type choice. It is VFR. It is 24 or so miles off of the coast of John Wayne Airport. John Wayne would be your closest, I guess, diversion alternate if you need it. It's 5,700-foot runway with instrument approaches, so that's a good diversion point if you would like to use it. But if you're coming VFR and you're coming from the north, there's the possibility of going through the Los Angeles Class Bravo airspace via one of these Bravo transition routes. And that allows you to traverse down from the north and west, down closer to John Wayne, so that when you're crossing over the water, you're not doing, 60 miles over water. You might be only doing 20 to 25 miles over the water. So it's a smart choice to make safety-wise, but it does mean you end up having to transition this Bravo. Well, if you go to the terminal area chart on SkyVector, Los Angeles TAC terminal area chart, you're going to have to be hovered over LAX for that to be an option, but then you'll get an option in the upper right that includes that. If you go to that chart and you look in the margins over on the left-hand side, you can see there's 5 different options for route transitions through the Los Angeles Bravo. 4 out of the 5 do require you to talk to ATC and get a Bravo clearance. The 5th one, the Special Flight Rules area that's depicted on the lower left-hand side, does not. So, you can do that, and I think it's, if we zoom in on that, I can't see it in the image that's in the briefing document, but if you zoom in on that on SkyVector, I think it says there's a special squawk code that you should dial in, 1201 or something like that, maybe. Just read it for the details there, but you can do that, and then that lets the controller know on their scope that that's what you're doing and that they're not required to talk to you, or you're not required to talk to them. But the other 4, Coliseum, Hollywood, Mini, and Coastal all require a Bravo clearance, just as any other Bravo clearance. You can come up from the south and east as well, from San Diego, but there's the San Diego Bravo to contend with. There's a restricted airspace around Camp Pendleton. So once again, direct over water is an option, but there's some spaces to avoid. But coming up the coast and then cutting west from John Wayne Airport is probably a smart idea, again, to minimize that overwater portion, especially if you're in a single engine. Catalina, the arrival itself. Common traffic advisory frequency is 122.7. That's what we'll be on for advisories. The airport itself sits 1,600 feet above mean sea level. It sits on a little plateau right in the middle of the island. Runway 22 is the normal approach for a normal runway in use if it's calm winds or even in a slight tailwind. Slight upslope on 2-2 helps it just kind of be a little bit safer arrival. The trick there, though, and this is also true in the sim, is that upslope gives you this optical illusion. Sorry, not obstacle illusion. Optical illusion that you're coming in too steep. So you tend to want to get lower and slower than you should be, earlier than you should be, because you feel like you're coming in steeper than you really are. It's an illusion based on that upslope. This webpage that I've got on the stream now, the Catalina Conservancy, this is the real world page for the airport. And if I open up the tab for runway 22, it just kind of gives you, it is a right-hand traffic pattern. You can see on the sectional it does say RP22. That means it's a right-hand traffic pattern. That means the standard entry for that comes from the west. So you kind of want to circle around to what we call the back end, or the outboard side of the island, and approach from the west. And then that 45 to right downwind into runway 22. You can, if you're coming from the south and east, you can do a overflight at 1,000 foot above ground elevation and a direct join if traffic allows, but it's going to be a pretty busy pattern. So the recommended thing would be an extra 1,000 feet, circle up kind of to the west, north and west tip of the island, and then join in from the west side with the full 45 to downwind. So that's the preferred way to come in. Departures are from 22 as well. And they don't allow intersection departures, so you want to go all the way out to the full length and depart from the end of runway 22. Pretty much it, I think. The other thing that I pointed out is that there is a possibility, if you're coming from further north and east, there is a possibility that you can do that. If you're real careful, you can come in above these Charlies, but below these southern shelves of the Bravo. You can do this in a manner that does not require you to talk to any air traffic control if that's what you want to do. You just have to be very careful about these altitude shelf designators. So the Charlie goes up to 4,400, for example, where I've got it in the middle of the screen. The Charlie goes to 5,400 here, right there off of the coast of Huntington Beach. So just be careful about the altitudes. You've got a number of Class Deltas in the area. You've got the restricted airspace around Disneyland. And of course, the biggie is the Los Angeles Bravo that you want to avoid. So in this area, you'd stay below 7,000, for example. But you can do this without talking to ATC if that's what you want to do. Just be really sure about where you are in relation to these Charlie and Bravo and Delta airspaces. We're lucking out, guys. It's pretty VMC, 10 statute miles and clear, but these fog banks in Catalina can kind of creep up on you in a hurry without warning. So fingers crossed, best of luck that we stay VMC tonight. Questions? Wow, was I that thorough?
It's a great briefing.
All right, guys, enjoy.
Very good.
All right, now I gotta stop the stream, disconnect from the voice channel. All right, bear with me. Just make sure that I have all that done, correctly configured, ready to go. I'm still connected to the network. All right, so let's get back. Let's get back. Okay, so we've got our Slants artwork adventure. Again, this is Keeley riding along in the Piper Comanche, heading out to Catalina Island. And Strudel wants us to put one of the other dogs in the cockpit. That's going to be a little difficult. I'm going to have it regenerate that image from scratch because it's going to have to change the entire perspective in order to get that in. Okay, so let me do that. Go here. Hang on one second. Then the CB flyer, I'll hold off on yours. You'll be the first one that I'll get to next in terms of the second modification to our slant artwork adventure. Yeah, so CB says, I hope the doggy was delivering the chocolates and was not gifted them. Right, no. If she were to tear into that box, that would be trouble for her. I agree. She's delivering them to Mrs. Slant out there, who's meeting us out there in Catalina Island. Let me Let's see. Okay, there we go. Get some get one of him. Okay. Sorry, guys. I've got a lot of stuff going on off stream in order to accommodate that image request. So normally it's really simple to tell it to just add this, or change that. But Strudel's request was to kind of broaden the perspective and change the camera angle, so it lends itself to regenerating the image from a fresh description rather than just adding or modifying what's already there. And I kind of wondered about that when I generated that image, whether it was going to work out from a standpoint of modification, because it was so in tight on her. I like it when it gives a little bit of a wider shot, and then that gives us more room to play with in terms of all the goofy stuff that we're going to add to the image. But anyway, yeah, so we're okay. Oh, it didn't do too bad actually. Although it's all right. The layout's a little funky. The layout's a little funky. Mozzie's piloting from the right seat, and the left seat is pivoted back, I guess. And she's got the chocolates. So there you go. Yeah, the layout's a little funky there, but it works. I guess it gets. Is it accurate? No, but is it the right vibe? Then sure. All right, CB Flyer, you can let me know what you would like to do to that image, and then let's get started. We are going to come in from Santa Barbara. So what I've depicted here, we're going to come in from Santa Barbara. So let's switch over to the just the World VFR. We're going to come in from Santa Barbara, which is Class Charlie out here, north and west of Los Angeles. Yeah, I know, new seating options. That pin back and slide around seating, indeed. But this is a Class Charlie airport just up the coast, north and west of the Los Angeles area. You got Thousand Oaks, you got Ventura here, and then Santa Barbara kind of just further out. You're getting kind of close to Oxnard and all those facilities there. Let's add a spray of small flowers along the glare shield from CB Flyer. Okay, we can do that. But we're going to depart here. VFR, we're going to go down the coast eastbound. We're going to look for this lake here, and we're loosely going to use the Fillmore VOR to navigate to. Once we pass Fillmore, we're going to come down here kind of toward Van Nuys. I'm not going to go quite to this point because that would be within the Van Nuys Delta. So we're going to stay a little bit further west than what's depicted here, but we do need to get established on this radial of the VOR, the Los Angeles VOR, the 326. Because when I'm going to fly, and this might change. Once we get into this area, we get in touch with SoCal. They might change up the plan for us. What I've kind of trotted out here is the 346 radio off the north end of LAX and the 123 radio off the south end of LAX down here to the coast, down here by near the Queen Mary and the Thomas Vincent Bridge. But that is the coastal route. If you look at this coastal route. By the way, if you do fly the special flight rules area, I did say, okay, so there's altitudes to adhere by, and yeah, 1201. I was correct. I remembered correctly. So 1201 is the squawk code that you put in. That lets them know that you're VOR, but that you don't intend to be talking to them, and you're going to be navigating that specific route at these specific altitudes. Anyway, we're going to fly the coastal route, and this does require an ATC clearance, so we will get a Bravo clearance prior to coming down kind of south from Van Nuys. Southbound, you enter the Bravo southbound and beam the Sipaville to pass on the 323 Los Angeles radial. After you cross, you go outbound on the 123, and then you exit the Bravo near the Vincent Thomas Bridge. Maintain altitude assigned by air traffic control. So that's what I've got plotted here, but if we get up to this area and we say, hey, we're looking for a VFR Bravo transition southbound, and they specifically want to put us on one of these other ones, then that is fine, and we will change up the plan, and I'll just replot it according to whatever it is that they tell us to do. Once we get down to the harbor here, we are in the shelf of the Bravo that starts at 8,000 feet. We're going to be well below that. I expect 2,500, 3,500, something like that. But at that point, we'll just cut west, and we'll just navigate kind of around the northwestern tip of the island, and we're coming from the west, like I was telling the club, is kind of the preferred way to join that pattern. We're going to come in at 2,600. Well, by the time we get to the tip of the island, we'll be 2,600, and then we'll join this 45 downwind and basin final. So that's our plan. We are in the A2A simulations Piper Comanche. Let's get to it. Let's get CB Flyers modification. Okay, so we got ChatGPT working on the image modification, and we are going to jump into the aircraft and get rolling here, friends. I know, a lot of dead space as I'm just juggling 5 or 6 different windows and monitors and stuff here. I keep losing track of my mouse cursor. All right, so first of all, levers and switches are on where they need to be. Let us go back. Let us resume. And here we are getting ready to jump into the aircraft. Ooh, that's loud in my ears. Turn that down. Okay, so we will open up the door. We'll open up the right window. Can we open up the right window from here? No, we can't. Let's just jump into the aircraft right now. And we'll open up this left window. And let's confirm. Oh, the parking brake is indeed not on. Oh, and I need to load in SPAD.next, don't I? Or else I'm not going to be moving anything around, am I? Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. So well prepared for tonight. This SPAD's still firing up. Okay, so it's now there. Okay, so now, yeah. Okay, so confirm parking brake is set. That's become my #1 checklist item. Let's take a peek at the updated image. So there we got the nice splash of flowers across the glare shield. So there we go. Mozzie piloting Keeley across to Catalina Island, where she's going to deliver these chocolates to Mrs. Slant. Obviously, she can't partake of them herself. All right. So we got the control lock off. Yeah, we can get the fuel valves open. I am going to go ahead and fuel up. You know, we would actually... Whoops, I didn't mean to put the control lock back on. Let's take that off. We would actually fuel up as we go around. We'll check and make sure that the fuel load is what we've asked for it to be. But we're just going to say, what did I say? I think I said 27 in each tank. And, well, we'll come back to do maintenance if we need to. All right, but anyway, let's take a walk around and check what we need to check on the outside of the plane. So let's, used to like to wiggle the flaps in each position, make sure they were nice and sturdy, but not near the flap control anymore, so we'll skip that. But we'll move the, oh, I need to back the time up like I said earlier. Let's do that. So let's go custom. We'll change. Yeah, live weather we want to stay on. But let's change the time so we're in daylight the entire trip. Okay, so we don't have any fuel in the tip tank, so there's nothing that I need to do there. Once we get around to this side of the aircraft, we want to take up the tie down. We want to take up the wheel chocks. Can I not reach those? Okay, there we go. So tie down and wheel chocks are done. We would check the fuel cap on this side, and we would kind of poke our head down, make sure that it had exactly the type and color of fuel and consistency of fuel that you had ordered, and yeah, visually inspect to make sure it roughly is equivalent with the amount of fuel that you had requested. Didn't mean to close the door. But we'll say that that's done on that side. Around the front of the aircraft, I'm going to check to make sure there's no obstructions in the intake, nothing like a rag that's been left there, for example. No damage to the prop. We'll check the oil dipstick. It should be nice and light tan color. It should be sitting just above the 9 mark when it's cold. And if Rookie 31st just popped in. Iowa Scotsman popped in. AJ Scott, not sure if I said hello to you. So welcome to the three of you. All right, so it looks to be, I can't tell. Is it just above or just barely slightly below the 9 mark? Close enough to the 9 mark that I'm going to call that good, and it's still a fairly light tan color. We must have changed it recently in this plane. Looks like the oil's in pretty good shape. So we're good there. We should check the left-hand wing tank as well. You know, again, you want to pop the cap off, stick your head in, make sure that it does have the right type, color, consistency of fuel, and approximate visual confirmation of the volume of fuel that you ordered. We'll remove the wheel chock, we'll remove the tie down, and we'll remove the pitot cover. Do I need to crouch down and get that? Yeah, okay. Alright, if we had fuel in the tip tank, we would want to do the same thing that we've talked about with the main tanks, but we can pass on that for now. We do want to make sure that the aileron moves freely and unobstructed. There's a static port here that is, yeah, the static port, make sure that's unobstructed as well. Make sure that the horizontal surface moves freely. The vertical surface should move also, but not as freely. And we'll remove that final tie down. Of course, all the tie downs, chocks, and covers and all that stuff would go in here into the storage area. But also, so we got another static port to inspect, make sure that's unobstructed. So all that stuff that I just pulled off the plane can go into the storage area. We got a toolkit there. We got my small bag, and we'll take the missus' her bag and purse as well. So we got a pretty full cargo load here with all that stuff. And then I think we are done. So let us get back into the aircraft, and we can close and latch the door. Whoops. Close and unclose, and then close and latch the door. Alright, and then windows should be open, as I said before, so that way when we yell to make sure people hear us, they'll know that we're about to start the engine up. Okay. Fuel valves, walk around, payload and fuel set. Let's get landing and, let's get battery, landing, and strobe lights on. And, oh, it does look like we've got a popped circuit breaker there, so we'll go ahead and pop that back in, make sure that it doesn't pop right back out. Good thing to check. Scan all the way across the bottom, and we do see that the little, one of those little things was popped out, so we got that taken care of. Hopefully that's not an indicator of a more severe electrical problem, but fingers crossed we should be good there. Prop levers full forward. Let's get mix and throttle full forward. We're going to run the fuel pump rather, for about 10 seconds or so, up until the fuel pressure says 5. We'll unlock the primer. Okay, fuel pressure's coming up. We can pump the primer maybe 3 times. That's not too cool here in Southern California. Nice balmy temperature. We're going to leave the fuel pump running, and mix will stay in. Throttle can come down to about 10% thereabouts. Right magneto, left magneto, both magnetos. This is where we go. Clear, 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 clear. Push the throttle a little bit forward as we go. Okay. Disengage the starter. Throttle down to 1,000. We note that the fuel pressure came up right away. I'm sorry, oil pressure came up right away. Let's lean the mix out right until the point where the RPMs drop. Since we've taken note of the oil pressure, let's turn off the fuel pump. There's a fuel pump that's built into the engine that should now be supplying its own fuel pressure, and it now is. So we're good there. I can go ahead and close up the windows. Winders, as you'd say here in Balmoron speak. We'll get the avionics on. We'll get the individual radios turned on. Com1 Nav 1, Com2 Nav 2. Just go ahead and pop that right into altitude mode. 1200 squawking for VFR. Get the ADF. And we'll just hit reset on that. I don't really watch it. Okay, I think we are good. Let us go ahead and get route set up. I hoped to be off by top of the hour. I kind of allowed some extra time because I knew I was going to be giving the club briefing. So off the runway, wheels up by top of the hour. So we're doing good. We're not pressed for time here. Information Bravo 2406, 10 statute miles clear, 3005. We'll go ahead and get that set while we're thinking of it. 3005, and the field elevation is pretty much 0, I think. Close to it. I didn't put it in my spreadsheet, but it's reading like it's very close to 0. Yeah, 14 feet. So yeah, basically 0. Good enough. VOR or GPS runway 25 and visual approaches, landing and departing 25, 15 left and 15 right. Well, that's because that's a lot of choices. We'll see what they want to do with us. 25 is the big thick runway that goes westbound, and that's kind of more in line with the wind direction, but it's only a 6-knot wind. We are parked up here at transient parking up on the northwest side. There's another transient parking location over on the northeast side, so when we check in, we'll need to let them know that we're over here on the northwest side. Oh, there's a run-up area right off the ramp here. So we're probably, for the shorter taxi, we can probably just take 15 right. Whatever they want to do is fine. But our on-course is going to be a 083. So let's set the green arrow to a 15, because that's what we expect is going to be our takeoff direction, and then a 083, and we're going to tune in the Fillmore VOR and navigate to that loosely, not strictly, but loosely. We're going to mostly navigate visually, but we'll have the Fillmore VOR. We're going to make sure we see Lake Casitas there. But Fillmore VOR is 12.5. 12.5. We'll swap that in. Click that up to distance. We're not receiving it just yet. We may not on the ground. It's what, 45 miles away, 48 miles away. Don't know how high-powered a VOR that is, but we don't really need it. Like I said, we're just going to take off and we're going to go eastbound. Once we see that Lake Casitas, we'll know that we should be within about 20 miles of it and hopefully receiving it by then. Speaking of direction, stand in the place where you are. Think about direction. Wonder why you haven't before. The plane seems to be parked at a 325, so we'll come and make sure our directional gyro kind of spins up into random direction when it boots up from cold. So just want to make sure that it is locked in there. Okay, and then it does very, very gradually process out of alignment. So every 15 minutes or so, you got to rock it back 7-8 degrees, something like that. So I think we're set there. And we'll get a code. We'll get a transponder code for flight following once we're ready to roll. But for right now, we are just going to. We can do our control surface check. Somebody will have to let us know we got the rudder. Oh, we have the life vest in there. So we have the life vest. Just in case we need it for that overwater portion. And of course our maintenance up to date, so. Yeah, just hold on loosely, don't let go. If you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control. Exactly. That sounds it sounds like excellent advice, CB Flyer. It also sounds vaguely, I don't know, familiar. Los Angeles Center is on 126.525 in the event of a water landing. Right, exactly. In the event of water landing, 38 Special has your instructions for you. 126.525.
Center citation 80 under 7 south, 15 miles northwest of
We're loosely flying the route, so that was where your mind went. Yeah, and then we're doing the special flight rules area too. So we're doing all kinds of. We're doing approximately 38 special things tonight.
Turn right heading 120.
Roger, we're cleared to San Diego on now, fly direct. Descend and maintain 15,000 and fly heading 120 under 7 hotel.
Okay. Take off flaps, take off trim. We can crank it back down to neutral.
American 972, contact Albuquerque Center on 132.8. Have a great day.
32.8, American 1922, bye-bye.
Okay.
At 166, you're leaving my airspace to the northwest.
So we have to talk to LA Center regardless in order to leave Santa Barbara, because it is a towered field and then we're going to be in a Class Charlie airspace. Once we get east of the Charlie, we don't technically need to talk to them until it's time to transit the Bravo. But I think we're just going to keep flight following, and that way we'll already be in touch with them when it's time to figure out exactly how we're going to get across this Bravo.
No, there's another airplane you're late by me, but thanks for letting me do that.
Okie doke. Alright, so let's
No worries, we'll see ya.
see if we can get a word in.
Second Spark 210834 for flight level 190.
2108, LA Center, climb maintain battle, your radar contact, climb maintain battle 350.
350, yeah, 2108.
And number 26 November,
Bravo.
radar contact, the altitude.
Passing through 1,500 for 26 November.
Number 26 November, you wanted to keep flight following or negative?
Yes, I would like to keep flight following for November 26 November.
Wonderful.
Yeah, Center Comanche 514 Delta Victor's got Bravo at Santa Barbara, ready taxi for VFR departure.
Oops, I got blocked. Sorry. Lunar Jet 871, contact Albuquerque Center 132.8. Have a great day.
Over Albuquerque Center on 132.8 for Lunar Jet 831. Thanks so much for your ATC.
Bavarian 1, maintain 250, not facilitate.
250, okay. On to the west, Bavarian 1.
Yeah, 611, reduce speed to 210. This is for some spacing.
Reduce speed to 210 in the 967.
Center Comanche 514 Delta Victor got Bravo at Santa Barbara West, Northwest GA, and ready to taxi VFR.
514 Delta Victor, Los Angeles Center, stand by. That's it, aircraft type.
Yeah, Piper Comanche, Papa Alpha 24. We are Slant Alpha. We're VFR intending 3,500 to Catalina as we transit south through the Bravo first.
514 Delta Victor, departures on this frequency, squawk 4766.
4766, 514 Delta Victor, departure with you when ready anytime.
514 Delta Victor, read back correct, runway 15, right to taxi via Charlie.
15 right via Charlie, 514 Delta Victor.
Southwest 2250, descend via the Lucky 1 arrival to San Diego, altimeter 3004.
Yeah, we are Slant Alpha, as always, but not always, right?
Lucky 1 for Southwest 22.
And number 8097 Hotel.
We're not always Slant Alpha, but we're always Slant Alpha, if you know what I mean.
Arrival. I'll get you direct to the fix here in just a moment, but you might want to start plugging that in.
We'll expect Lucky 1 arrival in that equipment stuff.
Yeah, the wrong lights on. I should have the beacon, and I had one of the landing lights on instead. We got that sorted out now. Beacon and nav, not landing and strobe.
You can resume public speed.
Public speed, line 1.
Guys, 611 traffic, 12 o'clock is the 737 at 6,200, 7 miles.
Hey, it's beach.
Traffic in sight, yeah, 611.
611, follow that traffic, cleared visual approach, runway 1 left.
Alright, 15 left via Charlie.
Puts 668, wind calm, runway 1 right, clear for takeoff.
Puts us out this way, because I think that's Bravo over there.
Southwest 2224, descend via the Lucky 1 arrival, San Diego, altimeter is 3004.
Yeah, so Charlie, and then that'll take a little bit of a left-hand veer.
Center, United 445, range for 10.
Yeah, 445, LA Center, descend Rockstar 4 arrival, expect runway 26 left, the Vegas altimeter 3003.
Via Rockstar 4 arrival and expect 26 left for United 445.
Okay, I guess this is the end of 15, right? Is that the numbers right there?
Bavarian 1, maintain 180 knots, until 5 mile final, runway 1 left, clear to
Okay,
land.
so this is pretty much the end.
5 and 1, also, yeah, one
Okay,
one left, clear left.
ready to go. Oh, CB's going to do some S3 training. Oh, nice. Center Comanche 514 Delta Victor, shoulder 15 right, Santa Barbara. We're ready.
Comanche 514 Delta Victor, on course departure approved, runway 15 right, clear for takeoff, wind 240 at 6.
15 right, clear for takeoff, on course, 514 Delta Victor. Okay, strobes, landing lights, pitot, and fuel pump. Okay, so on course basically means we can just kind of turn out to the left and head straight toward that Fillmore.
Guys, 611 wind calm,
VOR.
1 left, clear to land, number 2.
1 left, clear to land, number 2.
Didn't do the run up, but we got the mix fully rich now, and we're ready to go.
Sierra, you can expect visual approach.
Takeoff
runway,
power's coming at you.
26 left. The Vegas altimeter is 3003, descend to maintain 11,000.
Kenny Monster is here. Okay, we'll hold on the gear until we are sure we're not returning to pavements.
We have the Lucky 1 arrival and just confirming on what transition.
Well, I'm just going to give you actually, it's a fix that's on both of the transitions, so just turn right, turn direct to Lucky.
Okay, gear retracting. We're going to slowly get the rudder input out.
And number 8097 Hotel, cross Lucky at
And we can
or
get
above
the
6,000 feet. The
flaps
San
and
Diego
fuel
altimeter
pumps.
3004.
Going to get the
3004 cross
RPMs.
Lucky at 6,000 feet, Anderson Hotel.
off of the red line, and we'll get the manifold pressure down to 24 as well.
Leaving 120 5000 in the Clipper.
Turkish 12 Echo Heavy.
So 24 and 24.
Let me try that again. Turkish 12 Echo, LA Center, climb maintain final 350.
Kenny Monster, staff stopping in. Good to see you.
Comanche 514 Delta Victor, radar contact, the altitude.
514 Delta Victor's 1,100 going to 3,500.
514 Delta Victor Roger, you want to keep flight following?
If you're not too busy, we'll take it.
Sure, why not?
Watch out.
At Southwest 5668, radar contact, altitude.
Southwest 6668, 5,400.
Southwest 5668, climbing team, paddle 370.
Okay, we're pitched to
5668, climbing 370.
pitched to climb. Should be climbing 105, so I'm a little bit slow on the climb. No, Katie, yeah, we have to do our Catalina Curse event tonight, right?
Los Angeles Center.
I know that coincided with Cleveland, so I apologize to them not working something out to be in part of their event tonight. But yeah, I had to do our Catalina Curse event. It's something about the remaining fuel, remaining oil, or remaining something. I don't know. I don't use this engine monitor. You know, you're supposed to keep it up to date with fuel quantities and oil quantities, stuff like that, but I don't. Let's try to tell you that your remaining fuel, I think, is low. It's supposed to be a backup to your analog gauges. I pretty much ignore it. Okay, so we're coming up on 25. We're at 1,000 to go. Still kind of just navigating out to the east. Now we got airborne at what, about 55 till about 5 minutes till the top of the hour.
Our 8097 hotel contact SoCal approach now 128.05. Good day.
And regardless,
Bavarian 1, taxi to the ramp via hotel. We'll see you later.
regardless of what happens with the VOR that we're tuned into, I'm going 48 miles. Well, hold on.
Direct to Young.
48 miles. Let's put a GPS waypoint there. So 25 miles, we should be over top of that lake. So 10 minutes after departure, we should be over top of that lake.
Turn left heading to 270.
We're coming up on 3,500. So we're going to slowly level the plane out here. Yeah, the coin, yep. Yeah, we're doing our annual Catalina event, but we're kind of hosting it for the Virtual USA Flying Club. So we're out here. We just took off from Santa Barbara. We're going to go down kind of the coast. We're going to transition to Los Angeles Bravo north to south. And then from around John Wayne Airport, we're going to jump across the water and head to the island. Overshot the altitude, as I often tend to do in this aircraft.
Los Angeles Center, very good day. Skywards at 4914, fast through 320,
Yeah, it's a lot more rugged terrain than what was really depicted on that map, isn't it? We're still climbing. Come on, let's get trimmed down. As the speed comes up, we can probably see, manifold pressure had already kind of decayed to 22 because I wasn't really watching it and adjusting it going up. RPMs can come down to 22 though. And then we can lean the mix out. Lean the mix out until it's sitting at 14 gallons an hour.
Southwest 1733, Lee Meyer Station Northwest, Oakland offline.
Okay, there we are. 22, 22, and 14. And trimming back down, trying to get back down to 3,500. But we need to kind of stay. We're going to stay right on the coast here. And then if we stay east, as the mountains stay east and the coast bends off to the right, that's where that Lake Casitas should be. Might be buried in that little hole there. Okay, so now we got the VOR receiving 38 miles and counting down. So we can actually just adjust the course until it points straight, and that'll kind of give us some guidance there.
150, airport stops here, 11 o'clock in about 1-2 miles. You have it, sir?
Negative, still moving alive.
Spin the heading bug.
Turn 20 degrees left and descend and maintain 8,000.
Spin the heading bug. Sounds like a controller, either a controller change
20 left and down to 8,000. Contact there.
or a instructor and student situation there. Alright, so how are we with the
9611, need some clearance across the
22,
one please, when you get a chance.
22 and 14? Okay, so we're nice and fine-tuned. Let's take a peek at the. Yeah, we know the tip tanks are basically empty. Main tanks are nice and full though.
Instead of a right turn. Do you want to just take the corporate parking, or do you like to go to the terminal?
Terminal if possible, back crossing both active.
United 611, make your next left turn.
Yeah, Strudel says one of these days the Comanche's going to bite you back, and
Make
then
a left turn on Sierra Cross.
engine's going to fail.
Right on Sierra and taxi at Delta Golf.
I mean, I try to listen to it. So the way this A2A is situated, simulated, like normally there's not going to be something that breaks loose on you without warning. It's going to be something that creeps up on you, and if you don't address it, it gets progressively worse. So yes, we're not really watching the engine monitor, but my engine monitors are here, right? If there's something wrong, it should kind of give you some clues. Alright, so we are...
Delta 2696, runway 1 right, taxi.
So there's still a good amount of terrain here.
Runway 26 right at Delta.
It kind of looks like it's flat, and then there's terrain to the left, but no, if you look at the curvature lines, there's terrain all over. It's just the terrain to the left meets the requirement for the lighter color, and the rest of it around doesn't. But it does look like now we're coming into where that lake is sitting.
Now 2224, contact SoCal approach 13.050. 2805, 2224. Horizon 2034, descend be the lucky one, arrival, Limburg altimeter 3005. 3005, down be the lucky one, arrival. Frontier flight 1469, descend be the lucky one, arrival.
How are we doing with the event?
3005.
So we can see a few club members. If Jet Pilot Synonyms approaching from the south. We got 4877 Papa's almost there. 2633 Foxtrot's almost there. So we got a number of club members already kind of making their way over. A lot of general aviation traffic in the area here tonight. So a lot of that I imagine is attributable to us, the
6150, send maintain 5,000. Airport software
club members.
Now about 10 miles. The other side.
All right, just trim, just a little bit of trim to keep it about 3,500, and we'll just keep bumping the course to kind of point us in the right direction to the Fillmore VOR. We're not navigating directly to it. I'm really kind of more concerned about terrain clearance than navigation. If I was following like an airway to Fillmore, it'd be different. I'd be on a specific radial, and I'd also be probably a lot higher than 3,500. Doing this visually, we're closer to the terrain. We're lower to the ground. We're keeping visual separation from the terrain, and we're not specifically bound to any specific route. So when you're VFR, you're really just bound by your own navigation. You can go by VOR, you can go by visual landmarks, you can go by stopwatch and compass, or whatever you want to do. Normally a combination of the three is the way I end up going.
North 6150, contact Vegas approach 135.0.
But the point is to just remain clear of any airspace that you're not either not allowed to be in or not talking to the controller to be in. Alright, so another 23 miles, so basically another 10 minutes to the VOR. We're not, and then kind of turn south and east towards Van Nuys.
November 1089 Quebec.
1089 Quebec, go ahead.
Now, if we stay at 3,500, we're not in danger of encroaching on the Van Nuys class Delta. We'll be above that. But then once we get down here,
Alpha Victor X-ray.
5,000 feet, and then as we pass,
Next what's your aircraft at?
what's this airport here? Santa Monica Municipal.
Piper Arrow 3.
Then we're into that area of the Bravo that goes all the way to the surface, and we'll have to have received a clearance through the Bravo at that point.
Papa 28 Romeo.
Got that. Number 109 Quebec Squawk 4607. Let me know what's your exact.
4067.
We got the follow there from David Deff. David, thank you very kindly for the follow. Appreciate it.
American 623 is 9,000.
We're normally on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, switching up the normal show schedule this week. Thursday instead of Wednesday. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time is the normal routine here. We will be back on tomorrow night as well. And tomorrow night in the Fly Somewhere Lear 35. I believe that's the Dallas-Fort Worth Feel the Love event. So another, we got two Valentine's themed streams, Valentine's themed streams right in a row here for you. Our plan is to fly the Fly Somewhere Lear 35 in what we call a day in the life of a corporate charter pilot. So we'll have a base of operations that we start and end at. But we'll go from there to a pickup point for a fictional group. We'll take that fictional group to their fictional drop-off point, and then we'll return the plane to our base of operations at the end. So a 3-hopper in the Fly Somewhere Lear 35 for you tomorrow. And that plane just got an update within the last few days, and we're reassigning a few controls in the meantime, but hopefully get all that sorted out by showtime tomorrow and have a good 3-hop trip for the Friday Night Ops event hosted by the Dallas-Fort Worth ARTCC on VATSIM.
Aircraft calling microphone's coming on pretty quiet. Go ahead.
Alright, we'll trim down just a tiny little bit, back down to that. Right, the curse might be tomorrow night, says Kenny. Is Friday the 13th is tomorrow. Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we were cursed for our vintage cross to something back at the beginning of the month. So cursed I couldn't even fly in that at all. Hopefully that's the end of our curses this month. Fingers crossed.
$1440 LA Center for welcome air contact. Or just welcome. Number 514 Delta Victor, contact SoCal approach 128.05. See you.
2805, 514 Delta Victor.
Number 14 uniform relay clear to San Luis Airport as filed. Maintain 10,000. Expect flight level 350. 5 minutes after departure. Departure frequency is 126.52. Squawk 5134.
Yeah, that's 1284. Common maintain 17,000. Contact LA Center 126.52.
So before we check in with our controller, let's get back down to our actual intended altitude of 3,500. Kind of join the valley here.
Talking about 17 miles westbound, day 737 at Sunny 5,400, joining final for runway 27.
We're looking for that traffic, and we're looking to meet the altitude restriction at Cloud as well at 180 knots, 491577.
Roger. Got on 1297, on by set, accept, maintain 15,000, contact LA Center 126.5.
Climbing, maintain via third, and we'll contact Comanche.
South 2250, do not exceed 250 knots.
That's what I'm just. Every now and then, I'm kind of just bumping the course knob to keep the pointer centered, so that kind of gets us in the direction of Fillmore VOR. 13 miles from it yet. SoCal approach, Comanche 514 Delta Victor 3,600.
Over 514 Delta Victor, SoCal approach, roger, Van Nuys altimeter 300 tree.
3003, 514 Delta Victor. Do you have a preferred way to us transition north and to south through the Bravo?
Air 514 Delta Victor, you can do the coastal route southbound.
Okay, we'll expect coastal route southbound, 514 Delta Victor.
514 Delta Victor, Los Angeles altimeter 3005, and advise when you want to enter the coastal route southbound.
All right, 3005, and our plan is just kind of pick up the 109 radial off of Fillmore and kind of head over toward Van Nuys from there.
Roger.
SoCal approach November 26 November is 3,600 near
Okay.
the Ventura
Important
VOR.
point.
November 26 November.
Everybody
SoCal
stop and
approach,
listen. What did we not hear just then?
United 1577, maintain.
We did not hear the words cleared into the Washington.
All right, we'll bring it up to Tuesday.
Cleared into the Los Angeles Class Bravo airspace. So as of right now, we've been told what to expect. We've let him know what to expect from us. We are not yet cleared to cross that thick blue boundary.
Maintain to 180 knots.
So we can kind of proceed on our plan for now. But once we get to that, once we get to this darker blue boundary here south of Van Nuys, we're going to need to reconfirm with him that we are clear to enter that Bravo, because right now we are not. Actually, it's not this first blue line. I take it back. This first blue line puts us in a shelf that's not. It starts at 5,000 feet and we're at 3,500 feet. It's really when we get south of Santa Monica Municipal that we're going to be coming up on this surface area. So it's this line right here that we can't cross, presuming we stay at our present altitude.
Los Angeles altimeter 3005.
But we are not yet cleared to enter that Bravo airspace. We have not heard those words. We are in two-way communication. That doesn't cut it. For a Bravo airspace, two-way communication does not cut it. For a Charlie, you're good. For a Delta, you're good. For a Bravo, you need to hear those words, and we have not yet, which is fine. You don't need to tell us this early. But it is very important for us to keep that in mind for future. Should things change, should his workload change, should the circumstance change, the traffic situation change, it is very critical for us to act upon the current situation, which is we are not yet cleared into the Bravo.
Over the tower 118.3 and we'll maintain 180 knots to a 5-mile final. Thank you, Stan. 30 seconds.
American 3429, SoCal departure.
Yes, I'm good.
American 2429, turn left direct Clipper, climb and maintain 130,000.
For the turn left direct Clipper, fly over 13,000.
That's not flight level. You're not at flight. If you're at a local altimeter, you're not at flight level anything.
2,500.
South 2312, SoCal departure, radar contact. American 3429, for future reference, sir, you can't go above 250 knots below 10,000.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, American 3429, need that turn now, please. Turn left direct Clipper.
Alright, so let's dial in a 109.
Now.
American 3429, reduce speed at 250 knots.
Roger, reduce speed to 250 knots.
American, correction, South 2312, maintain 230 knots, climb, maintain 10,000.
Let's for the moment, let's steer exactly at 065.
American 3429, you're not turning left. For now, turn left heading 160.
Let's turn left, heading 160.
American 3429, turn left heading 160, then turn left right Clipper. If you can't turn left right Clipper, I'm gonna have to add some disconnect, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm out of balance lead.
Okay, yeah, just want to make sure to let you know if you can't turn left right Clipper, advise, and I ask you to disconnect and reconnect when you're ready.
Alright, let's see if we can go a little bit further along this way.
2312, reduce speed to 210.
And I don't want to get too far off the beaten path. I don't want to get lost.
Is that me, Southwest 2312, reduce speed to 10?
I don't want to get lost up in this valley when I mean to be in this valley.
Reduce speed at 210.
So I definitely want to make sure that I'm kind of working my way over to that 109 radial. So let's go ahead and
SoCal approach, November 2324 Kilo, ready for departure, 20 left.
November 2324
24
Kilo,
and 24.
SoCal departure, runway 20 left. On course departure per runway 20 left. There you go.
Clear for takeoff, 20
We need
left.
to kind of scooch up and over this ridge here.
3429, yes, sir. Doesn't look like your direct clipper. I'm going to have you to disconnect, please, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Alright, 3429, yeah, thank you. Just disconnect, please, and fly again when you're ready. 2312, turn left, heading 160.
Heading 160, Southwest 2312.
SoCal approach, wait line set, clear runway 26 left. Thanks for your ATC today.
48 Mike, Quebec, Roger. Yeah. Southwest 2250, contact Lindbergh Tower 18.3.
Quarter tower, Southwest
So yeah, I think I got caught up north of the ridge I wanted to be south of.
Left center clipper, maintain.
Right now, if I'm near Fillmore VOR,
Left right clipper, climb and maintain 130,000.
near Fillmore VOR, there's no airspace above me I have to worry about, so I can go as high as I need to get where I need to go.
Southwest 2312, turn left right clipper, climb and maintain 13,000.
Turn left clipper, maintain 13,000, Southwest 2312.
Okay. Over to the ridge that we need to be over.
November 2324, Kilo radar contact mail.
So I'm going to bring it back down to
2324 Kilo is 1,300 for 2,400.
22 and 22.
Kilo, Roger.
And we'll lean it out to 14 gallons an hour.
SoCal departure, Sarah 42 Super.
And we can put in
and 1,500 feet.
kind of a gentle descent here.
United 2312, climb by Seneca, maintain 15,000. Contact LA Center 126.52.
All right.
Approach Frontier Flight 1469 out of 15.
Now, how far
Southwest
south and east? So it's not until we're 20 miles south and east of Fillmore that we need to worry about the. Don't worry about getting close to the Bravo.
Alright, over to...
Is that tuned to 109 or 110? Yeah, 109 is good. Okay, and that radial's coming in, so we can almost
2000 runway heading.
pretty much join that.
77, so got departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 5,000.
Senior climbed up 5,000 now, United 1577.
And we can put in a nice, slow, gradual descent back down to 3,500.
Delta 5303, still got departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 17,000, turn left right PV.
Oh, we have a PV in Raleigh airspace as well. May not be spelled the same. Ours is spelled like the amplifier manufacturer.
Hotel Foxtrot Alpha 42, say your call.
I think this one is PEVEE, Papa Echo, Victor Echo Echo. I think I remember seeing that fix in this airspace before, over near Van Nuys, I think. It seems vaguely familiar. I could be making that up completely. It's actually been a while since I've flown in this airspace.
Vector localizer runway 27 approach.
Tell you what though, it's a stark reminder of how really awesome these controllers are. Guys in LA know their stuff.
Sarah 42 Super, that's 250 knots.
Sarah 42 Super, reduce speed at 230 knots.
Roger that, 230 knots for Sarah 42 Super.
November 514 Delta Victor, cleared through Los Angeles class Bravo airspace by the coastal route southbound. Maintain VFR at 5,500. LA altimeter 3005.
Okay, cleared through the Bravo airspace, coastal route southbound 5,500. 514 knots, Victor. Okay, we'll back up to 55 then.
Delta 5303, contact LA Center 126.52.
126.52, Delta 5303.
Sarah 42, climb and maintain 13,000.
Okay, so remember everything I said earlier about, hey, let's be careful, we're not cleared, we're now cleared. But we're cleared to do that very, very specific thing.
2034, contact Lindbergh Tower, 18.3.
183 for a right to 34.
Interestingly, we are indeed now going to enter the Bravo crossing this first line rather than the second line, because now we're going to be at 5,500. Well, this chunk of airspace goes between 5 and 10. So we are now going to join the the Bravo as we cross that that thick line there. Okay, we're
77 clears for go around.
United 57, it's just an unstable approach. Honestly, it was just, we're using a new app in the sim, and it just caused a lot of weird camera motion, and it threw us off on the approach there.
Roger.
Alright, so 22, 22, and 14 we're level at 5,500. We're tracking out on the Fillmore 109. We're not. That's not a firm requirement. It's just kind of pointing us in the right direction. Once we get here south of Van Nuys, we definitely do need to join this Los Angeles 323. That's our coastal route. So we're getting ready to tune that in. Matter of fact, we can kind of be ahead of the game on that. Los Angeles VOR is 113.6. So we can do two things. 113.6. And we can tune it down here on VOR2 as well. And we can tune. This is the 323, but we're going to be flying it south and eastbound, so we're going to want to tune the 323 on the bottom end, so that's the 143.
November 26, November, radar service terminated for exchange. Squawk and maintain VFR.
We're pretty much on that right now, look at that.
November 26 November, thanks, have a good night.
Yeah.
113.6.
7260, descend and maintain 2,600. 250, turn right at 260.
So there's
turn right at 360.
yeah, there's our VOR there. There's our Los Angeles VOR. 19.5 and counting down. So we're pretty much on that 323 already.
Southway 250, maintain 230 knots.
Skitter up 230 knots to southwest,
Pacific 7260.
Now, at this point, I can't just bump the course to wherever I want it to bump to make it point centered. At this point, I actually have to fly that 323. So we're going to not steer the VOR. We're not going to adjust the VOR to match the plane where the plane is. We're going to adjust where the plane is to match the VOR.
4,000 for traffic.
4,000 for traffic.
So there's 55.
67 traffic, 12 o'clock, 7 miles northbound, 737, climbing for 4,300.
And
Pacific 7260, 5 miles from TG, maintain 2,600 until established on the localizer, cleared ILS, runway 25 left approach.
we might need to ask him if we can get back down to 3,500 because of these cloud bases here.
Departure today at FedEx 9925 to the Blessing 4000 time.
FedEx 9925, started departure, turn left heading 250.
Blessing 250 for 9925 today.
SoCal 514 Delta Victor. Can we get back down to 3,500 for clouds?
Or 514 Delta Victor, say again.
Are we able to get back down to 3,500 for clouds?
Or 514 Delta Victor, maintain VFR at 30,500.
At VFR at 3,500, 514 Delta Victor, thank you.
FedEx 9925, turn left direct, zoo.
Left direct zoo, 9925 to the
Horizon 2167, climb by the SID.
Okay, so down to 3,500. Overshot the correction onto the radial, so we'll get back onto that.
1469, second.
Yeah, you gave me a standby a while ago. I'm pretty much close to intercepting the RNAV at 57.
1469, I'll give you a approach, roger that. Make you clear approach on the way 27.
Clear approach 27, my day 1467.
1469, contact Limburg Tower 18.3.
18346 contact.
Pacific 7260, contact LA Tower 120, planner 5.
095, Pacific 7260, CMX.
Alright, so 20,
25, contact LA
20 and 20.
13652.
And descending to 3,500.
20, correction, Horizon 2167, contact LA Center 126.52.
And we're on that 146.
So. United 1577, turn righting 100.
Right turn hang 1009, 1577.
Okay, looks like we need to correct over to the right just a little bit. JJ is here. How are you? Okay, we're at 4,500 and we've been cleared down to 3,500. We're gonna go
36 takeoff, we're gonna departure runway 24 taxi via Alpha.
right over top of LA. We're 10 miles north of the VOR.
United 1577, resume normal speed.
Resume normal speed
And
and
remember,
after
after the VOR, it's a 123 outbound.
Thanks, yeah, and we'll resume normal speed now, 1577.
Okay, LAX sprawling way out before us here.
Departure 77 Foxtrot Tango 2,500 for 10,000 P-Ward 2.
Number 77 Foxtrot Tango, so I got departure radar contact.
Okay, 500 more feet in the descent, then we'll get back to our cruise parameters 22 and 22.
10,000 7 Foxtrot Tango.
Sir, 514 Delta Victor, are you able to climb to 5,500 now or negative?
No, not for cloud bases, negative. I can keep it here though at 4.
Sir, 514 Delta Victor, you can maintain the across 3,500, that's fine.
Okay, 3,500 VFR, 514 Delta Victor. Sorry about that.
No worries, you have 1577, clear direct Lindy, cross Lindy at or above 5,000, clear to localize runway 27 approach.
Clear direct Lindy at or above 5,000. We're clear to localizer runway 27 approach. 1577.
South 2250, resume normal speed.
Okay.
Resume normal speed, south of 22.
3,500.
Pakistan 786, so I got a departure.
High departure, this is Pakistan 786.
22, 22, 14.
Pakistan
We are
786, radar contact, turn left direct TV, climb maintain 17,000.
tracking the VOR accurately.
Turning left,
We want to make sure we're tracking the altitude accurately. Let's get up there, 3,500.
Echo Victor, Echo Echo, climb and maintain 17,000.
Yep, I was right. Papa Echo Victor Echo Echo.
Climbing and maintaining 7,000.
Alright, we're slipping off the radial just a touch. 3.9 miles and counting down. So the closer you get to it, the more magnified a slight deviation will be on your needle. Oh, look, we got departure coming off of LAX. This is the cool thing about doing these routes and seeing traffic right below you at the airport. So we got a departure coming out from under our nose here, left to right.
Pakistan 786, turn left heading 140.
Turning left at 140, Pakistan 786.
South 2250, turn right at 100.
That is awesome, actually. That is fantastic.
2250, expect localizer runway 27 approach from Lindy.
Localizer from Lindy.
Okay, tracking the VOR pretty accurately here. And then remember, on the far end of this coastal route, a 123 outbound.
November 550 Papa Delta is in a Eurocopter EC-135 Hooper Heliport, class local law enforcement control.
Sir, 5540 Papa Delta, Soga departure, standby.
Okay, so we're passing over the VOR. We're not going to really be able to keep the needle centered as we pass right over top of it. Let's just tune to the
786, verify direct TV now.
123.
Having trouble with my MDU, Pakistan 76. Well, I'm trying to figure out.
Okay, Pakistan 786, what waypoint do you have programmed?
Okay, so let's make the left. Make sure we're at 3,500. Let's rejoin the 123, so I'm going to overshoot.
786, if we're unable to direct TV, I'm going to have to ask you to disconnect, sir.
Pakistan 76, I can redirect to Holt, the one right after PB.
Pakistan 76, okay, roger, stand by. Just fly that current heading, and I also need you to climb. You're not climbing. Climb and maintain 17,000.
Expediting climb to 170. Pakistan 76.
Pakistan 76, correct, hold, climb and maintain 17,000.
Climbing and maintaining 17,000, Pakistan 76.
And correct, hold.
Okay, so
That's correct. I headed towards Holt as well. Sorry about that. Pakistan 76.
United 433, turn left, take 150.
3,500.
United 433.
November 2324 kilo, squawk and maintain VFR.
Catalina Island off to our right, one of those. We're going to be careful if we're going to do that visually. We're going to be careful when we go to the right one. Actually, it might be that whole thing. Might be that. Might be that whole thing. Okay, we're on the 123 outbound. Let's just make sure real quick.
Steering 719, climb by assist.
I'm steering of 130 exactly now.
Number 514 Delta Victor leaving Los Angeles Cross Bravo airspace to the south. Radar service is terminated for exchange crew, squawk and maintain VFR.
Alright, radar service terminated, squawk maintain VFR, and frequency change approved 514 Delta Victor, thanks. Yeah, he's ready to be done with us. He's got plenty. He's got plenty on his plate. We don't need to tangle him up anymore.
5,000 and the clear for the approach from 927 Southwest 950.
Tab of 22 through 2327, reduce speed to 210 knots, climb and maintain.
So now my plan is to come all the way out here to the pier. So we're crossing that point. So we are outside. We're in this shelf of the Bravo doesn't affect us until 8,000. We're well below that. We're going to come out to these piers here. We're going to turn right to a 217.
November 7368, Gulf, ready to go, runway 24, looking for northbound departure.
736, Gulf, encore.
So right now,
runway 24, clear for takeoff.
let's just make sure we're calibrated. So I'm flying a 130 exactly, but it looks like we're registering about a 126 maybe. So let's rock that back to a 126.
Is out 2327, maintain 230 knots.
230 knots, Southwest 2227.
And then 122.7 is the Common Traffic Advisory frequency for Catalina. So 122.7, we're going to flip that over. We're going to transmit and receive on COM 2, but we are going to still be listening in on COM 1 just so we know what's going on in the Bravo.
Air 550 Papa Delta, are you going to be entering the Bravo?
Negative, sir.
Catalina traffic,
550 Papa Delta,
hotel out, turning final runway 22, Catalina.
Sounds like our very good friend Jeffrey B is arriving at Catalina. So now we're hearing both. We're hearing the CTAF communications, the airport communications at Catalina. We're also hearing airport communications at any other airports in this area that might be using 122.7. We might hear calls at other airports. Who knows? We're going to hear a lot of traffic at Catalina because of the club event. But we're also hearing SoCal approach on 128.05, but nothing that we say on 22.7 is going to interfere with anything that happens on 28.05, so we're good there.
Up to 17,000, Southwest 2327.
So once we are clear,
Number 1089 Quebec.
I'm going to change. I'm going to fly a 220 or 217 really to get out to the northeast or northwest end of the island.
Yeah, 433 Cleric Carif.
Okay, and we are going to just fly
down
the western coast of the island and then join our pattern.
To the right downwind for runway 22.
And we do have a VOR there. It's not at the airport, but it's close to the airport. It's on 114.15, so we can tune that just to have the distance count down. 114.15. So we'll tune that just to have the distance reference, but 24 miles to go there. So that'll just help us make our calls to the advisory frequency. We're X miles out of the airport.
It's 1089 Quebec, and we're looking for a Bravo clearance to transition along the shoreline 3,500 feet southbound.
Sir, 1089 Quebec, roger, proceed on course for now.
Catalina traffic, Navy 2324 Kilo, left midfield downwind, right midfield downwind, runway 22.
Okay, so yeah, this is all Catalina. There is a low point in the middle here, and that's what we're looking at. But the airport's kind of right in the thick part in the middle. So right in here somewhere, right near that higher peak, is where the airport is. But we're going to just come around the northwestern tip there. Good Fixins is here. How are you? Okay, so we're on that heading that I dialed in, and that's pointing us right toward the tip of the island. So I have very high confidence that we are pointed toward the correct thing. I am going to turn off. I am going to turn off, since there's so much chatter on 22.7 for our event. The chatter on SoCal was just a little.
November will be clear here in a second.
Somebody had a surprise landing, it sounds like. Yeah, the runway does upslope pretty harshly, so gonna have to be ready.
Catalina traffic November 26 November is clear of the active. Catalina.
And by the way, for those of you just joining, or for those of you just needed a reminder, we do have our slant artwork adventure underway. We got furry co-pilot Mozzie is piloting the aircraft, and furry co-pilot Keeley is bringing a box of Valentine's chocolates. Of course, dogs aren't supposed to have chocolates. Not that that really affects these two. Pretend dogs with their pretend chocolates. But we're just going to say that she's delivering the box of Valentine's chocolates to Mrs. Slant, who is waiting for us out on Catalina. So we're at 3,500, or 3,600 really. Pattern altitude is 2,600. Field elevation 1,600. So once we get close to the tip of the island, I am going to descend. And then once we join the pattern, we had 6 miles there from the tip to the join point. So that 6 miles will allow us to descend that 1,000 feet easily. And then we'll be at pattern altitude to join the right downwind. Yeah, the big wine mixer down there, huh? How's our event doing, actually? Yeah, a handful of us. Good amount of GA call signs. Yeah, it's a good amount of GA call signs up in the area. So here we are. This was the coastal route. That straight line into LA, that straight line out of it.
Clear runway 22.
22, 14 gallons an hour, plenty of fuel. Part 2 of the stream tonight, by the way, is going to be out to Big Bear Lake, another little resort area with a very special arrival and departure procedure. So that'll be a fun one. You want to stay tuned for that. But yeah, so if you want to get in on that slant artwork adventure, I just need to cash in 500 of the Twitch channel points, aka the alphabets points there at the bottom of the chat panel. And that'll put you in the queue. Once I call your name, you can let me know what you would like to do to add to that image or modify that image. Again, we throw a description into ChatGPT, so once you put that redemption in, if I glance over and I see that you're waiting, I call your name. All you got to do is just let me know in the chat. Just a few words or a short sentence, no paragraphs or anything like that, but a few words or a short sentence as to what you want to do to add to that image or modify it. I can't remember who it was last stream. He was like, "Well, I don't want to ruin the image." Go ahead and ruin the image, guys. That's part of the fun. Go ahead and ruin the image. That's what makes it fun. And really, if there's anything we do to it that we really hate, then we can always walk it back. So nothing that you can do to it that we can't undo if need be. But yeah, I can't remember who that was. I was like, I don't want to ruin it. Come on, ruin it. Oh, Chavez says, I almost kissed the cliff and then floated right over the bump. Hard hit, but I was spooked. Yeah, so that illusion of that upsloping runway really, really affects you a lot. But I've also been told that in X-plane, the crest in the middle of that runway is a little bit exaggerated. Somebody said, by the way, that in X-plane there's a kind of a big bump right there near the numbers at 22. So I don't know if that's what caught you out. We haven't been out here in a while, but I feel like the airport's rendered relatively reasonably well in Flight Sim 2024. Alright, so once we get over the northwestern tip, we'll turn down, we'll start descending, and we'll make our first traffic call. Oh, it wasn't a hard hit, but I was spooked. Okay, I got you. I missed the wording there. Oh, what did I get? Oh, I don't have my landing stats plug-in running. That'd be a good thing to have. Yeah, this is a tricky airport, that's for sure. So Lover's Cove itself, when I say we're taking our Valentine's Day trip to Lover's Cove, I believe is down here. I believe that is technically the town of Avalon. Right down in that little alcove there, and Lover's Cove is like that little bump, that little harbor right there, I'm pretty sure. Alright, almost there.
Almost there. Stay on target. We're too close.
They're right behind me.
Almost there. Stay on target.
Alright, so the airport is like right in here, I think. Kind of in that thickest part. Little plateau right there. Pretty sure. I mean, we'll see it when we get closer. But yeah, Lover's Cove, the town of Avalon and the actual place that I call Lover's Cove, down that little valley right there. We'll get a good look at it as we pass over on the west side of the island here. Yeah, but we're gonna get ready here in just a few moments. Round the tip. Just a tip, I promise. You can trust me. It is Valentine's Day after all. Yeah, this really is a gorgeous flight, isn't it, Nam? Nam 106 says, I got a later start. We're following out of Santa Barbara. I'm only now at Fillmore, but it is a beautiful flight. Yeah, the only thing was I got a little bit caught out in that valley just north and east of Fillmore rather than south and east. I had to kind of hop over. Other than that, I think our trip went really, really well so far. Fingers crossed that I'm not jinxing it. But yeah, this is a gorgeous airspace. The controllers are so, so good. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's rounding the northwestern tip of the island, 3,500 descending. We're going to enter 45 to right downwind runway 22 Catalina. You were surprised that you beat me, Chavez. Darth Dennis says, my virtual pilot is feeling hypoxic. But if you want to simulate the effect of that, you know, I know some mixture-enriched beverages that can help you simulate the effect of that. All right, so we're going to bring the power back pretty far. I'm going to bring it to 18 and 18 here. But to start slowing down, I'm actually going to speed the props up. Actually, just go mix full rich here. So we want to take it to 26. Oh, you're doing your altitude test? I forgot all about that. You mentioned that a few weeks ago. Okay, I think we're looking at the airport right here. I'm not certain though, man. So just north of that tip. I'm going to spin the course arrow down to 2. Oh, we're supposed to be down at 2,600. So there's Lever's Cove. Yeah, from here, we kind of want to cut in on that 45. I think this is the airport we're looking at. All right, so we're 25, 2,600. That's right where we want to be. This is the airport here, I'm pretty sure. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's entering the 45 to right downwinds, runway 22 at 2,600 Catalina. Alright. Get the first notch of flaps in. Yeah, I think we're looking right at the airport here. We want to make sure, we want to make extra sure we're good on altitude here. Kind of bring it right into the center. Got an extra Extra 100 feet. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, it's tough to pick out of the trees, but this is our runway right here, I'm pretty sure. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's turning from the 45 to the right downwind now. Runway 22, Catalina, full stop. Okay, so we got the first knot of flaps in. We're well below the gear range. We can go ahead and get the fuel pumps on. You guys can start putting some predictions into the chat as far as the vertical descent rate at the moment of the west touch runway surface. There's no bot command necessary for that on this channel. Just a number into the chat, positive or negative. We'll know that you meet a descent rate either way. And the closest predictor gets an automatic entry into our monthly landing rate raffle. We'll next pull that on February the 27th. What is that, 2 weeks from today? Yeah, 2 weeks from today. Okay, extra 100 feet still, so I'm going to let it fall just a touch. Touch of power out just to make sure we don't pick up, get above the white arc and overspeed our flaps. Okay, we'll make a midfield call right when we're abeam the terminal here. Okay, there's 26. Let's keep it. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's right, midfield downwind, runway 22, full stop, Catalina. Okay, mix and prop now full forward. We can just add a touch of power back in. We're not ready to slow it yet. Okay, we are abeam the numbers. I'm going to start a very, very light and gentle descent. Gear can come out, second knot to flaps. No power adjustment. We're going to let the drag do the work for us. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's right downwind to right base now for runway 22, full stop, Catalina. Okay, slight power dip now. Let's cut the turn kind of square. This is high precision needed here. Okay, and we're still 700 feet, but Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's right base to final now, runway 22, full stop, Catalina. I'm feeling like visually we appear low. Normally on this approach, visually you appear high. Oh, yeah, now we get the best of both worlds. So now I definitely feel like I'm too high. But again, part of that is because I'm a little high, but part of that is that visual optical illusion. So let's not overcorrect now. Okay, gears down in green, flaps, landing flaps set and checked. Yeah, a little extra height, a little extra speed, but we've got plenty of runway for a Comanche. We'll be okay. We'll decrab it. Ooh. Not bad at all.
Better go out there and clean up that butter after.
Spilled it all over, didn't I?
Well done.
More luck than skill, but the more I practice, the luckier I get. Flaps, strobes, landing, pitot, and fuel pump. And I did some work on my model matching. At least the one that's sitting here is a nice GA model. Of course, FSLTL does a lot of that for us, but I added kind of a catch-all rule to manage a few of the lesser, less common types and put them in something at least close. So we should be a little bit better than we have been in previous streams in terms of model matching. Alright, let's get the throttle down to 1,000. Mix leaned out, so what do we do? So we touched down at 8:55 Eastern Time. So 8, or so 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. So we were 5 minutes early for the arrival window. That's not a bad. That for a TOT drill, that's not too bad. So how'd our route look? Yeah, the pattern looked pretty good. Very happy with that. I could have gone, I could have run this out a little bit further and squared it off a little bit better, but it wasn't too bad. And yeah, the touchdown I was very, very happy with. And then someone's following the same exact route I was just following, it looks like. Very cool. Did you do the same? Oh yeah, you joined it a much shorter in than I did. 8-9er Quebec. 9er Alpha Mike, maybe doing something, maybe doing one of the other routes, maybe doing the Coliseum, perhaps, or Hollywood. But yeah, this was our path. So yeah, not too bad. I think I got caught up in this erroneous direction, and then I just like, oh crap, I need to hop this ridge and get going back to where I was trying to get to. So other than that, it worked out okay. Say Again says it's my T-34B Mentor, but really a modified Bonanza. Okay. Alright, well, let's see. I got the flaps in, I got all the lights off, pitot and fuel pump off, and parking brake is indeed set, so I think we're good in terms of intermission. But let me get the winner of our landing rate raffle. Yeah, now we have to disregard the G's. The A2A AccuSim flight model module that runs outside the sim and injects the flight dynamics into the sim, it messes up the G calculation. So that's going to look like crazy light, but like impossibly light touchdown, because it's less than 1 G, and that's just not, like, that's not a thing. So we can disregard that. But yeah, 18 knots, more or less right down the center. No bounces. Yeah, and a slight right to left. We felt that, but the plane it did need a right correction. We were crabbing to the right, and then I kind of decrabbed it on short final. So yeah, a little bit of a offset, and 18 knots, even a slight offset, 18 knots you're gonna feel that in a light like this. 87 was the number that registered, so we'll see how your guess is stacked up against that. So EL said 88 right off the bat. He opened the bid with, I think, probably the winner, perhaps. One away, at least. We'll see what the rest of you said. We had 69, nice, but not so nice. You didn't win. 124, 110, 33, 130, 95, 70, and 82 was looking really, really good. But not good enough, because ELW with the 88. Well, it's not miles per hour, it's actually feet per minute. But that's going to be our winner there, so ELW 124, congrats. At KAVX on 12, nope, not 12, 212. Alright, well, I'll sneak the 2 in before the 12. Okay. Good thing I landed at 66 to beat you, says Kenny. Well, you know, hey, I put up a valiant fight. Alright, well there we are. And I'll tell you what we'll do for intermission. We'll kind of face the arrival end, in case any more of our friends make their way in. Face it like that, I think. There we go. Alright, well, I'm going to take a quick break out of the cockpit, guys, but we are not done. We have managed to cheat the Catalina curse. Thank goodness. This is a tricky trip. Year after year, this is a tricky trip. It worked out well for us. I guess we were cursed on our vintage cross to something trip, so we didn't have to undergo the curse for this trip. So we'll let you know. Hey, I'm very, very upset about the not being able to fly in that vintage cross to something. But if that meant, you know, we took one for the team that day, so we didn't have to take it to today, then I guess we'll allow it. We do have another trip left to do tonight, however. Oh, I gotta put my put my attendance into the club channel and go over here to the Virtual USA Flying Club. And I'll put my call sign 514 Delta Victor, Papa Alpha 24. We went KSBA to KAVX, and we landed here at what was it, 0155? 0155. Alright, so that's taken care of. We have this.
Catalina traffic, November 1089 Quebec.
We have this
12 miles to the north.
This page, and this is the page for the real Catalina Airport that gives you the arrival information for the airport. We're going to go to another little resort area that's got its own page with information on the arrivals. So approach and departure procedures. Big Bear Airport. It is Lima 35 is the identifier. We're going to be arriving from the west. Let's read more there. And yeah, so there's this very specific noise abatement procedure that they want you to follow. They want you to basically stay clear of the town until you're over there. If you're coming into the eastbound runway, they want you right over the lake. Coming into the westbound runway, they want you to turn after the school here. So yeah, they've got a very specific procedure for noise purposes here at Big Bear Lake. We're going to go ahead and fly that one here. We're going to blank this out. We're going to go KAVX to L35. Almost a straight shot, by the way, and we're going to maybe swing it just a little bit further. Well, we don't even need to swing it east because this Bravo shelf doesn't start till 7,000 here. We're going to take it right over Santa Ana. We're going to make sure we're at 5,500 or higher, and then pass right over that Class Charlie. We'll pass right over this Class Charlie, which goes up to 5,000, so we'll be at 55 if we can with the clouds. We'll do our best. But yeah, we'll keep 5,500. That'll put us over top of all this stuff, but underneath the Bravo stuff. We'll kind of thread the needle and head straight out there. We will have a VOR here. What's it called? Paradise? Yeah, PDZ. That we can use just to aid us in making sure we're in a nice straight line. And then once we get out to Big Bear Lake, we kind of have to come up this little river and into the lake from the west. But then it's, you know, as the airport information depicted, they want you once you get into the area of the lake, stay south and parallel with the streets, and then, you know, either this way for the eastbound arrival, this way for the westbound arrival. So you don't turn toward the airport until you're almost abeam it, basically. So we'll take a closer look at that. Kenny Monster's heading out. Yeah, thank you very kindly, Kenny. We got all kinds of fun plans this weekend. The missus and I do. We got an event that we're attending in the afternoon, and then we got nice dinner plans at a nice restaurant here in town for the evening. So good Saturday plan, and of course lots and lots of curling to watch between. So yeah, going to be a great Valentine's Day for the missus and I. Thank you very kindly, Kenny. Good to see you. Hopefully we'll catch up with you tomorrow. We got our Lear flight in the Fort Worth Air TCC's Field of Love, so hopefully we'll talk to you a little bit then. But if not, have a great weekend yourself. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and take our intermission. And then we will be back with you in just a few, guys. We got our trip to Big Bear Lake to round out our trip. We have vanquished the curse, but we're going to press our luck and see if we can make it up to Big Bear. Back in a few, guys. Sit tight.
Catalina traffic 1089 Quebec is 4 miles to the west. We'll rate 45 to right downwind for runway 22 with a gift full stop at Catalina. Traffic 1089 Quebec is on the right downwind, runway 22, full stop Catalina.
Catalina traffic, Viper 394 Alpha Mike is 10 miles to the northwest. We're going to circle the north end of the island and then enter the right downwind for 22 via a 45. Full stop 22 Catalina.
1089 Quebec is turning right base, runway 22 full stop, Catalina. And Catalina traffic 1089 Quebec is turning final, runway 22 full stop, Catalina. Catalina Island traffic with November 1089 Quebec is clear of runway 22, will be taxiing departing Catalina.
Catalina traffic, Piper 394 Alpha Mike. We are 5 miles to the north, entering the 45 to the right, downwind for 22 full stop. We are at 2600. Catalina.
Alright, well, sounds like we're back right in time. Welcome back, friends. Thanks for the patience. I think one might have arrived while I was away, grabbing a refill of the beverage, and it sounds like we've got one entering the pattern now, so Good to have you guys. Thank you for joining us for one of our Slant Alpha adventures as we are live from Studio 5 just outside of Ocean City, Maryland, and we have cheated the Catalina curse successfully. We had actually a really nice arrival into Catalina here just a bit ago. We're in the A2A Simulations Piper Comanche. We are going to do a second leg on this. We're going to head out to Big Bear Lake. Looks like Los Angeles Center might have just hopped offline. However, my goal for the second leg was to do it without needing to talk to them anyway. They were nice and busy when we talked to them earlier. But my goal in the second leg was going to be to head out to Big Bear Lake and stay above the Charlie and Delta airspaces and below the Bravo airspace. So now I guess it won't technically matter since there's no air traffic control that we have to abide by or communicate with or not communicate with or stay out of the space where we need to communicate with them. So we can be a little bit more free of choice, especially if cloud cover maybe prevents us from doing it exactly the way we want it to, and that may well be the case. But yeah, we'll get underway in just a second. We'll watch our friend make his arrival here. Don't quite see him. Should be midfield left downwind about now.
November 394 off the mic, beam the field on the right downwind, full stop 22.
Yeah, we should be kind of looking right at him, but I don't see him readily. We'll keep the camera over here to hopefully catch him on base and final. In the meantime, here is our plan for leg number 2. It looks like we do have some precipitation moving through the area. But we're going to depart from Catalina. We're going to head to the north and east. Try and get up to 5,500 if clouds will allow. We'll be above the Charlies. We'll be above this Charlie that goes up to 44. We'll be above this Charlie that goes to 54. We'll above this Charlie that goes to 50. But we'll be below this Bravo that starts at 7,000. And then the further east we go, the less airspace we have to contend with until we finally end up at Big Bear City. And the Big Bear City has a specific arrival procedure to follow depending on which direction we're arriving. And we'll kind of go over all that here in just a moment. But
November 394 off the mic, base to final. Full stop 22 Catalina.
I'm still not quite seeing him. Sure he's approaching the right airport? No, I'm kidding. I know he is. I can see him on VATSIM radar. Just can't see him in the actual sim. He's flying his Wonder Woman jet. That's why. He's flying a stealth Comanche. F-14 Tomcat for Life is here. How are you? Good to see you. Alright, should be seeing him touch down there any second. Anybody seen an airplane around here? I know I'm still connected to VATSIM because I'm still hearing them. A long final? No, that doesn't look like it from VATSIM radar. Oh, okay, I saw something there. Just over the tree. Just the hint of a red nav light. Oh, there he is. Yeah, the Wonder Woman invisible jet we were thinking maybe. JPC. But no, it's visible enough now that we're close, I guess. Looked like it was a nice and stable arrival, as far as we could tell. The little bit of it that we saw, at least, anyway. Alright, well, back into the aircraft we go. And let's go ahead and make sure we're ready to get rocking and rolling on leg number 2. So we can file. We can file it on VATSIM just so that in the record book it'll separate it from the flight that we're doing now. There's really no need to file a VFR flight plan in the U.S., but it does. The remarks do populate to the controller. The rest of the flight plan does not, because in the real world in the U.S., flight plans do not get sent to air traffic control the same way IFR flight plans do. But we'll put it on there just to differentiate it from the flight we just did. 5500, airspeed 150. Arrival would be L35. Alternate, we're going to call it Palm Springs. En route time. Let's see, what did I plot? .35. En route time 0051. And fuel endurance 0240. We're just going to call it VFR northeastbound. No PBN codes. Performance is an alpha. And we'll just put the stream link here. Twitch.tv/slant adventures. It's great if I could spell it right. Anything else we're missing there? Don't think so. Go ahead and get that filed. Okay. Alright, and then we'll take it from the top. Let's 260 at 9er, so we're still going to depart westbound 3007, right traffic out of here. So 3007. Field elevation 1600, we know that, so that's good. What are we sitting at here? We're parked at a 301 maybe in terms of our magnetic, so we can, yeah, we always have to rock that back a few degrees. We're going to depart. We don't need the VOR. It's just kind of cluttering up our HSI by having that. So we'll just have the arrow pointed to 22 just to represent the runway. And then our on course is going to be essentially a 044. So I'll point the heading bug to that. Basically a downwind, or a straight off downwind. 044. We essentially right behind us. So we'll do a right hand pattern out of here. So comm radios, yeah, 22.7 is what we're transmitting and receiving on comm 2, and 22.7 is the common traffic advisory frequency. Altimeter set, field elevation verified, directional gyro verified, heading, nav radios, nav courses, and we are going to, once we get over to the mainland side, we are going to kind of loosely point toward this Riverside. No, Riverside VOR? I thought it was Paradise VOR. Yeah, so Paradise 112.2 is that one. So matter of fact, let's do that. Let's point the green arrow for runway heading. And then the yellow arrow we can point toward 112.2. And we're not yet receiving it. Too far away and too low to receive it yet, but that's fine. And then squawk, yeah, we're still squawking 1200 via VFR, since we're not, we're VFR, and we're not in any Bravo, Charlie, or Delta airspace here, and we're not going to be talking to Los Angeles Center. Even if they were on, we were going to try and do this in a way that would not require us to talk to Center. So, or SoCal or Center, which either one. Alright, well, let's go ahead and do our control checks then. We've got our flaps set for departure. Did our flaps set? Yeah, flaps are set for departure. We'll get the trim neutral. It's pretty close to it already. And do our control checks. Good. Okay, I can't really see the rudder from this position, but somebody outside will give us the big heads up, thumbs up rather, that the rudder's looking good. And since we've been sitting here at idle, we can kind of, we'll go ahead and do a run-up when we get down to the end of the runway. Alright, parking brake is off. Okay, no need for strobes or fuel pump or pitot just yet. Just very gently and gingerly get the plane turned around, get it back onto pavement. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor is going to taxi out to runway 22 for a VFR northeastbound departure, Catalina. Okay, managed to do that without hurting the airplane. God bless us. Alright, we've been sitting here idling for a little while. Now we've been doing that at low mix. I pulled the mix out right to the point where the RPM starts to drop. So that should save us from some of the carbon deposits building up on the plug tips. Well, that weather's just really starting to look a little ominous, isn't it? We might have to come up with an alternate navigation plan for this second leg, guys. I don't think we're going to be able to get up to 5,500. Anyway, as I was saying, we were sitting there nice and leaned as we idled on the ramp. That should save us some of the carbon buildups. I believe the sign basically says to make sure you make radio calls. Due to obstructed visibility between runway ends, use of Unicom is mandatory prior to takeoff 22-7. Interesting that the sign calls it Unicom. We've been preaching on VATSIM for a long time that Unicom's the wrong term. It's CTAF here in the States for Common Traffic Advisory Frequency. Alright, let's do a run-up. We'll hold the brakes in. I'm going to leave the mix leaned for the first part here. We're going to run the RPMs up to 2,000. We'll do a prop lever check. So leaving the RPMs up and the mix down will help to burn off any carbon deposits that maybe had formed while we were sitting there on the ramp. So this prop lever check is going to double as our opportunity to burn off some of that buildup. Now that we've done that, let's pull the mix fully rich now. Adjust the RPM to 2,000. Let's check carb heat. Carb heat does indeed incur a RPM loss. Alright, let's check the mags. Let's switch from both to just the left side. We only had about a 90 RPM drop there. That's good. And then back to both. And then same thing if we go just to the other side. Yeah, only about a 90 RPM drop, so we're good. Alright. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor, departing runway 22 on the right downwind VFR northeastbound departure, Catalina. Okay, strobes, landing lights, fuel pump, and pitot heat. All coming on. And mix is fully rich. Okay, I'm going to get positioned to get lined up, get the brakes on, we'll get spooled up to takeoff power, and then we'll let the brakes go. Now, it looks like the runway ends there. There's a little bit of crest. There is some more runway on the far side of the crest, so it's not quite panic time. Okay, takeoff power set. Brakes off, and away we go. Got some right rudder in for the engine asymmetry, but also the right to left crosswind. Okay. Combination of rudder and aileron to get us out of that. Okay. Good. We're off cleanly. Okay. For certain, don't need to return to pavement, so we'll go ahead and pull the gear in. Get that rudder input out nice and gently. We'll get the nose slightly down. Flaps in. We'll pitch to maintain 105 with the RPMs off of the red line. Manifold to 24. RPM to 24. Okay, looking good. Fuel pump can come off. Laps can come in if I didn't already do so. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's clear. Runway 22 on the right crosswind, and then the right base coming up for the VFR northeastbound departure, Catalina. Okay, pitch to 105. That's our best rate of climb. We want to be at 5,500 as soon as possible so that we don't encroach on any of the Class Charlie airspace. So with the wings level, we can do a traffic check. We see none. Catalina traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's right crosswind to right downwind now on the VFR northeastbound departure for runway 22 Catalina. So we're 3,000 feet and climbing now. However, with these cloud bases, I am not going to make it to 5,500. I am going to level off at 3,500. So what's that mean? That means that we're not going to be above the Class Charlie airspaces that I had intended to be above. Okay. Well, with no VATSIM air traffic control, that doesn't really change anything for us. However, if there had been SoCal approach on, you know, we'd kind of want to know, like, okay, who would we need to talk to, and for what portions of this trip would we need to talk to somebody if we're going to do it at 35 and not 55. Now, I'm putting in quite a bit of down trim to keep the plane from climbing anymore. Overshot our intended altitude by about 200 feet, but we're coming back to get it now, but it also means I can go ahead and start pulling power down. So 2,200 on the RPMs, 22 on the manifold pressure. Okay, there's 3,500. Sounds like we got some gusty winds there. And we can get the mix leaned out to 14 gallons an hour. Okay. 22 on the manifold, 22 on the RPMs, 14 on the mix. Man, feel that wind. Okay, and we do now have that that Paradise VOR. We can kind of just bump the course until we're tracking directly toward it, and we can just point the airplane to track directly toward it. Fifty miles and counting down to that. Let's slip it just a touch of altitude off now. Let's put a touch of up trim back into it. And get back up to that 3,500. Okay, so if we're going this direct track, so starting exactly at 3,500, we would need to be in touch with the John Wayne controller. John Wayne, SoCal Approach, whatever sector of SoCal Approach handles That John Wayne class Charlie, that Santa Ana class Charlie. So just to get a position reference, what would we say? Seal Beach VOR? What's a good VOR to use? El Toro 117.2. Yeah, we'll use Seal Beach 115.7. Let's call ourselves X number of miles. Well, I mean, honestly, 14.15 Catalina. Flip it back.
Traffic, November 394 Alpha Mike, taxiing to 224-day VFR departure to the east, Catalina.
So we can really just say
Traffic, Comanche 8223 November, 10 miles southeast, inbound to land 22, Catalina.
So SoCal approach, Comanche 514 Delta Victor, 9 miles northeast of Catalina, 3,400. We're looking to transit your class Charlie southwest to northeast. And as soon as he answers you by call sign, he says November 514 Delta Victor SoCal approach. As soon as you hear that, you're good. Unless he says remain outside the class Charlie airspace. That's the only thing he can say that negates what I just said. But if he answers you by call sign, Comanche 514 Delta Victor, Roger. He should issue you a squawk code, have you radar identified. That should be the next thing that comes. Squawk 2345 and ident. Okay, 2345 and ident, 514 Delta Victor. So we'll dial that in, hit the ident button. Okay, yeah, okay. Radar contact, position 11 miles northeast Catalina, 3,500.
Traffic, November 394 Alpha Mike, taking off runway 22.
Proceed on course, or approved as requested, or whatever he says.
Catalina.
But the key thing is, he'll issue you that squawk, so dial that in. You'll hit the ident button if he asks you to. You know, he might not ask you to do the ident, but if they ask you to, then you do that. But as soon as they are certain, and I know on VATSIM, like, it's a little pedantic, right? Pilots often ask, why do controllers make you do all that in order to talk to them? Well, the answer is because, yes, in the simulator and on the network, it's trivial. We know which aircraft everyone is, because we can see it on VATSIM radar, or we can even cheat and see it in the scope. So it's 100% certain we know that this blip is 514 Delta Victor. However, in the real world, you don't have any such assurance. You don't have a network of computers tying my simulator to your scope to know exactly where I am and what I'm doing. You have radio waves bouncing off of metal in the sky coming back to you, and then you have the numbers that I dialed in that should correlate me to what you just told me to do. So that's why you, as a radar controller, you need to be 100% certain that the dot that you think is me is actually me. And so that's why a lot of times it feels like they're making you jump through hoops in order to do that radar contact thing, but that is why. They're simulating the tools as they exist in the real world, which does not connect any kind of computer system on this plane to that radar scope. Now, ADS-B, a little different. Some of what I just said is becoming less and less true on a daily basis.
Clear, runway 22. We're in the right downwind at 3,000, climbing 5,500. Final call, Catalina.
All right, so we can switch back to 112.2, and we'll bump the course over to navigate inbound to that. And I'm going to, so we've got 22.7 on COM2. Technically now we're in the common advisories, en route advisories area. So we need to be transmitting and receiving on 22.8. Nope. So transmitting and receiving on 22.8, that's the en route advisories. That's the generic, doesn't really exist advisories. That is just common to VATSIM rules. And then 22.7 is still everybody that's down at Catalina. Now, there might be some other non-towered airports that use 22.7. We might hear traffic at those as well. But I expect that we'll still hear some club participants using 22.7 to make their reports at Catalina. But we're transmitting and receiving on this advisory frequency. And we shouldn't really need to talk to anybody as long as we're not in conflict with anyone. But here's the deal: we were planning to be at 5,500. We are now going to be at 3,500, and so now we would have had to talk to SoCal Approach to let them know we want to transit the airspace southwest to northeast, the Santa Ana Charlie southwest to northeast at 3,500, and so they would have had to come back with that call sign. And them answering you by call sign is everything that you need to hear. However, typically then what would happen is they'd give you a squawk, get dialed in, they'd say radar contact, and that's it. So we'll just say that we've done that. The ideal thing would have been at 55, would have been to be at 5,500 and show you how to do this without having to talk to anyone. But in our weather, with our weather restrictions being what they are, we would have to talk to John Wayne Approach or Santa Ana Approach, technically called SoCal Approach.
About 10 miles from the field to the north, to the southeast. Going to be entering.
And then I think the John Wayne Airport is actually off to our right. I think this is John Wayne over here. Well, Pilgrim, I'll tell you, that certainly looks like our airport right there. Waha. It's like the best, worst John Wayne impression you've probably ever heard. Yeah, drifting up a couple hundred feet above our intended altitude. We can trim it down. Yeah, so that is indeed, if we're tracking directly to Paradise VOR. Yeah, John Wayne's going to be to our right. What is this one? Los Alamitos? Yeah, Los Alamitos Army Airfield. And then Long Beach will be a little further up to our left. My oldest used to live right here on Signal Hill. It's the one that now lives in the Minneapolis area.
Catalina traffic, Comanche 23 November, right downwind.
So there's John Wayne.
Catalina.
Los Alamitos is this one right here. Yep, I think. Or is that Long Beach there? With the converging diagonal, that might be Long Beach. So Los Alamitos maybe closer on my left-hand side. So wait a minute, we got this little. No. Okay, so I think that was Los Alamitos, and then I think Long Beach is over here. It's always fun to get an aerial tour someplace when it's more fun when the guy giving the tour knows where the heck he is. You know.
Yeah, Catalina traffic, Bonanza 4 Hotel Foxtrot. I got that traffic on right downwind 22, Catalina.
Catalina traffic, Comanche 23 November, right, base 22, Catalina.
Alright, so we're
Hey,
still slightly high. Taking it back down to 3,500. Don't forget, by the way, we've got our slant artwork adventure going. Our slant artwork adventure. This is a activity that we do on our stream. We feed a one-sentence description of an image that we want ChatGPT to generate. It's roughly relevant to whatever we're doing on the stream that day. And then once we show that, you guys then have the opportunity to cash in 500 of the Twitch channel points, aka the Alphabets points. Put you in the queue to make a modification or addition to that image. So,
Final 22 full stop.
so here's our image. We got furry co-pilot Mozzie driving the plane out to Catalina. We got furry co-pilot Keeley delivering Mrs. Slant's chocolates. Of course, the pups can't eat those. Not very healthy for them. But that's our image. We got Mozzie flying the plane. Keeley taking her little box of chocolates out to see Mama out on Catalina. So if you guys want to add to that image or modify that image, you can let me know what you'd like to do to it. Rookie 31st wants to get in on that action. Go ahead, Rookie. Let me know. Let me know. What are we doing to modify or add to that image?
And Catalina traffic, Bonanza 4 Hotel Foxtrot is turning right, base runway 22, Catalina.
The dogs need headphones. Okay, gotcha.
Catalina traffic, Comanche 223 over, clear 22, taxi to the...
All right, Rookie, we're working on that one for you. Working on that one for you.
And Catalina traffic, Bonanza November 114 Hotel Foxtrot is a Bonanza A36 turning right, final runway 22 with intentions for a full stop, Catalina.
I like that. Intentions for a full stop. You know, we're not taking anything for granted, though. Preferably on their heads, Rookie. Well, I didn't specify that, so we'll see what ChatGPT does with it. So I'm steering a 035, but it looks like we're about a 033. So pop it back just a couple degrees. Oh, it did it. Yeah, it did nicely. Actually, they look very appropriate. Beat up all aviation headphones and our vintage single-engine piston. Nice, very nice, Rookie. Nam106 says, by the way, my ears thanked me when I started using the A2A headphones in the Comanche, turning the noise canceling on. Yeah, I have the sounds pretty well balanced in terms of the what I'm hearing in the ATC versus the airplane. The mix, I'll tell you what, there's a little bit of a cheat. The mix that I'm hearing in my headset is different than the mix that y'all are hearing. I have the ATC audio a little bit higher so that I tend to miss calls less often that way. But it's not so high for the stream that it obstructs the narration. So a little bit of a trick that I use, it's I got one mix in the ears and one mix for you guys.
November 1116 is 30 miles north of the field, descending 7,000 on the Buffalo 1 arrival.
I hear a Melvin.
And Catalina traffic, Bonanza November 114 Hotel Foxtrot has just vacated runway 22 off to the FBO right off here, last call. Catalina.
Alright, so the other trick with being at 3,500 instead of 5,500 is, man, we got some terrain to watch here. We gotta make sure we don't box ourselves in. But anyway, we're coming up on Paradise VOR. We're gonna come outbound from Paradise on a 043. And I'll tell you what, maybe not, right? We might not be going straight to Big Bear Lake. We need to go to this intersection of the streams, which is going to be on a 045 and 30 miles. So 045 and 30, we should see this fork in the streams, and then we should take a left. You know what they say. You know what Yogi says. And if you see a fork in the road, you should take it. I know. I come back to that one a lot. I come back to that one a lot. It's so useful, though. It's good advice. Yeah, I'm gonna watch, though. There's some stuff over there to my right that's higher than me. If we could not see it, that would be awkward. Alright, so we're still 11 miles and counting down to Paradise VOR. So where are we exactly? So so this is, we're seeing this Pleasance Peak out to our right, Santiago Peak out to our right. So dead ahead of us. So this is, what's this little airport? Corona Municipal. Tiny little thing that we're, did we already pass over? No, I think Corona Municipal's probably right in here somewhere. That's probably it right there. Yeah, so that I think is Corona. So straight off our left wing should be Chino.
520 north. Going to be entering a right base, runway 22, Catalina.
So is that there? Yep, okay, there's Chino Airport. I love this one, Flabob. Flabob Airport is dead ahead. So just about 10 miles ahead is Riverside RAL, and then Riverside RIR is called Flabob. And then way off to our right is March ARB, Army Reserve Base. Would that be? I'm not sure what that would be. Military of some ilk. Air Force Reserve Base? Not sure. Air Reserve Base? Okay, I was beating around it. That was close. The Flyer Studios, welcome. Good to see you. You would know. Big old lake off to head to our right. Okay, so that's, I'm going to say that's probably Lake Matthews. And then well past that would be March. Which we can't see because we're only in February. Alright, so straight ahead, so we did see Chino, we have not yet seen Riverside, and then Flabob. That's a long way. That's a long runway. And March's pretty cool. Flown in there a bunch of times going out to NTC just north of Barstow for training. Oh, cool. Yeah, that's a long, what was the length of that runway? 13.3. What do you think he is, Denver? Of course, if it was Denver, you'd have, what, 10 of those? So I'm kind of drifting south of where I want to be here. Heading over toward the lake, and it's not what I want to do. Still at 3,500, still looking hesitant to climb. So I've flown in there on a C-17, on an Atlas 7.6, and a 7.4 into March. Nice. Well, I guess you need those 13,000 feet for that. Actually, the C-17 probably doesn't. The C-17 can surprise you with how little it needs.
Traffic November 1116.
Yeah, but you need it for the 7.4 for sure. Especially if you load it down to any appreciable level. Alright, so what do we say? We're going to go 45, yeah, 045 outbound on 30 miles. So let's do a couple of things here. Let's be careful of the rocks that we're pointed toward, first of all. Let's just calibrate our directional gyro for a moment. We'll steer exactly a 055. We'll see what that gets us. Yeah, that's more like a 4.6 there, isn't it? So we were steering a 050 rather, not a 055. 046, maybe 047. Maybe there. And then 045 is what we want to dial in off of the Paradise VOR on the far side. And we're still right of course, so I am going to correct up to the left here. I haven't seen the Riverside Airport, but that's probably it right there. Plus shaped? Yeah, I would say that's it. Okay, so we kind of swung down to the south here, but we're going to get back on course. And then Flabob should be just beyond that to the left. Is that it over there? Maybe not. Yeah, possibly. Still plenty of fuel. How are we doing overall here? 22, 22, 14, plenty of fuel. Speaking of common traffic advisory frequency, what do we want to be on for Big Bear? 122.725. So I'm going to swap that in. Okay, so we're still monitoring the generic en route advisory frequency, but now in COM 2. And we'll get ready to transmit and receive on that one. COM 2, we're on the advisory frequency for Big Bear. Now, let's... Do we have a L35? KL35. Ten statute miles, overcast at 10,000, 3014. So 3014, we'll go ahead and set here. Oh, that's a little higher than we have it. Okay, good. Alright, so we're coming back into that that radial. This flyer says, what's even crazier is I flew on a 747 out of NGU, which I forget what that is. Forget which one that is. Which one is NGU? Help me out. It says it was for customs, setting a solid foot back in the U.S., coming back from Poland. We took up the entire runway length there, it was, oh, that's the one just west of Norfolk. Oh, okay. Yeah, I bet that was a tight fit. Which, yes, I'm fully aware. That's what she said. And this is Valentine's Day weekend after all, so. Alright, it's getting a little tough to see. Let's go to World VFR rather. It's getting a little tough to see the map features with the icing warnings and the weather returns. I'm going to get rid of those. Yeah, we know the weather's not great. We should have this kind of sweeping, zigzaggy lake thing, stream thing, and then at 30 miles out is when we're going to basically take that fork. And that to our left, I would guess, is San Bernardino. That's that massively long one. And then just up ahead to the right, yep, okay. So we are kind of splitting the difference here between San Bernardino and Redlands Municipal. So those are right across the highway from each other. And then up ahead is the point where this is going to split, and we're going to fork off to the north. And when we fork off to the north, we're going to make sure that we're following kind of a 350-ish. Are we following that road to our right? This road and then stream? Okay, it kind of looks like we are. I'll tell you what, I'm going to stay just to the left of that larger peak, because I think that's probably this, and we're going to want to stay to the left of it and follow that up, and then we'll be to the right of the massive higher peak. I don't know, those are at 46, 47. Okay, those are 1,000 above us. And then up around the bend, there should be one that's several thousand feet above us. But it does appear to be time to climb. Would it be British accents, the Flyer Studios? Is that George Takei is not? I don't think he's British. But he would definitely tag it with an oh my. So 24 on the RPMs, 24 on the manifold. Throw the mix in just a little bit. Put a little more altitude under us. So the field elevation at Big Bear, we're going to have to climb anyway, right? Big field elevation at Big Bear is 6,700 feet, 6,750. So yeah, 3,500 wasn't going to cut it anyway. But we're going to kind of have to sneak in under this cloud base. This is going to be interesting. So wind is calm. So which one do we want to do? Let's do the curved approach. Let's do the approach over the water. So that'll be fun. What is 8 and What's the runway direction there? 8 and 26, yeah. Alright, 8 and 26 set, so that we kind of have a reference for that. We got Defiant Prawn stopping in. We got Liquid Dinosaur with a resub. Very cool. Thank you, Liquid Dinosaur. Good to hear from you. Hope all has been well. Alright, so we're climbing, so we are going to need to continue to bump the manifold pressure up every little bit. RPM steady at 24. Manifold pressure will decrease as you climb because you're climbing into less dense air. So you do need to kind of bump that as you go. And yeah, so as we take this fork to the left, we then need to kind of bear slightly to the right. Now, I don't think we were quite as far out. Yeah, we had not... Yeah, we were 24 miles out on that radial to Paradise. Radial Paradise, we weren't really supposed to take the fork until 30. So now I think we're probably in this mess here prior to reaching that forking point. I don't know, though. I don't know. That can't be right, because we're at 4,600. And there's a peak off to our right that's exactly level with us, but we're looking at higher ones up ahead, so we must be further up into the higher terrain than I realize. But we do definitely, we get to a point where things are going to fork. Instead of going right, we want to go left. So I think we might need to go into this little valley here, and that might be this here. So when we take, yeah, that fork is going to go up that way. So I think that's just barely ahead of us. 26, yeah, we're almost 27, so 3 more miles and then make a left. Yeah, I think that's it right there. I think that is our channel that leads us up to the very western edge of Big Bear Lake. Eric's here, says, I'm flying through you tonight, had an honors band thing to attend. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Happy to provide some level of entertainment for you.
And LA traffic at 56. We're just north of the airfield, descending out of 8,000. Correction, 10,000 for 8,000. We're on the gap downward for 26 left.
All right.
Don't worry, I got you in sight, Rob.
Oh, I see you too. Right over top us. Well, you wouldn't want to be this low anyway. If you were this low, something would be amiss. So there is some chatter on 22A, but it looks to be actual coordination. That's good. Alright, again, manifold pressure, bump it up to 24. Oh, we're maxed out. Alright, now I am going to switch over to, yeah, I'm not going to monitor both anymore. I'm going to do just Big Bear. Alright, so we make this little juke to the right. Hopefully we'll be inside of a lake. Alright, I'm going to try and stop the climb here too. We're at 7,500. Field elevation's what, 67? Yeah, so we're not actually even at pattern altitude. Alright, well, we'll keep it climbing then. 67, We're at 77. We'll go maybe to 82. Oh, there we are. Lake's coming into sight. This worked out perfectly, guys. Big Bear traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor is 8,000 feet. We're just coming up to the west tip of the lake. We're going to join the prescribed arrival for the eastbound runway, runway 8, Big Bear. Okay, so here's where we want to keep it south of the lake and then zigzag in and around the school. No, I'm sorry. South of the lake and then zigzag in toward the runway and then back over the lake. All right, 8,200 though, that's where we're going to stop the climb. Yeah, kind of parallel this road that stays just south of the lake. But I am also going to start pulling power out. We got RPMs up because we were just in a climb. We're going to leave the RPMs up, but I'm going to pull power out. Whoop. Alright, so we're going to navigate around that big hill. But then we're going to loop back to the left and then we're going to come over the water. Oh wow, this is much smaller than I realized. Okay, gear's going to come out because we're going to need to slow down. Okay, and there's the airport there. Since we're at 8,000, I am going to have the mix a little bit leaned. Big Bear traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor is joining the pattern over the lake for the eastbound runway, runway 8, full stop, Big Bear. You guys can start putting some predictions into the chat as far as the vertical descent rate at the moment the wheels touch runway surface. No bot command necessary. Just a number into the chat, positive or negative. We'll know that you mean a descent rate either way. And the closest predictor is going to get an automatic entry into our monthly landing rate raffle. We'll pull 2 weeks from tonight on the 27th. Big Bear traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor's short final over the water now for runway 8, Big Bear. Went all red, so we'll get the nose pitched up, get a little power back in so we don't lose all our airspeed.
Big Bear traffic, Comanche 304 Alpha Mike is to the south of the lake following the charted procedure for runway 8. Big Bear.
Okay, we'll decrab on short like we did last time. Oh my goodness, we got the raid coming in right before touchdown. Oh, messy. Let's Skimming and skipping. Skimming and skipping, but, you know, kept it stable and under control. Just sloppy flare timing. Overflared it too. But not too bad. I got the raid from Cross Hyper. Hey, how are you, man? Good to talk to you. Hope all is well. We made it down. We probably messed up the tires a little bit. And I don't think I ever got the yeah, I don't think I ever got the fuel pump on. Normally you do that when you're on short final, but the fuel pump can now come back off. Flaps can be stowed. Big Bear traffic, Comanche 514 Delta Victor, clear runway 8, Big Bear.
Big Bear traffic, Comanche 394 Alpha Mike, entering base to final for runway.
Okay, landing light strobe. Flaps stowed. Lean can be leaned out to the right, where the point where the RPMs start to drop. Yeah, mix can be leaned out. The lean can be mixed out. Ugh. Yeah, I'm not sure these guys are sitting on the T's like they should be, but we'll squeeze in right between these two.
Big Bear traffic, Comanche. Full stop, Big Bear.
Alright. Parking brake is on. Throttle down to 1,000. Mix lane right to the point where it starts to drop. And then we'll look at our oh, there's our friend arriving. Just caught it just as you touched down. Hopefully yours went better than mine. Mine didn't go terribly, but it was just a little sloppy. So this is what we were supposed to do. Out this way and then back and then join the water. I don't know if mine actually looks like that. Let's look. Oh no. I guess because my flight's over, it didn't, it's no longer registering a path there. Well, I'll tell you what, I should be able to get it on StatSim. I did file it on the network, so it should have registered in StatSim. Let's go flights, VATSIM ID. You guys know the trick to remembering my VATSIM ID, right? It's one note off from Twinkle Twinkle. 1155655. So let's do this one. AVX to L35. Touchdown was markedly better than at Catalina, but didn't really pay 100%. Yeah, so I guess what I was supposed to do okay, so here's the road that curves up. So we were supposed to go way out further east. Yeah, so we were supposed to start further south. Yeah, I was supposed to be further off of the lake and then turn back later toward this little thumb thing and then back in. But yeah, I think I had a scale misconception in my head. I thought this was much bigger. You know, again. I thought it was much bigger. Anyway. Although we've been making a ton of inappropriate jokes for Valentine's Day weekend. Anyway, so yeah, this is what we wound up doing. So it looks like we should have come further out and then up through the town this way and then cut back kind of toward where this curve in the road is. Yeah, so by that point we should have been cutting back parallel, and then kind of a 45. Okay. So yeah, so like NAM 106 says, I was definitely not precise with that procedure. So apparently neither was I. Oh well, that's part of the challenge, right? But anyway, overall, great event. I guess we owe you a landing rate raffle winner. So yeah, messy flare timing and kind of up and down with the pitch attitude on final. Really focusing more on getting the alignment right, which was a struggle as well. Although the pitch was the bigger struggle. So we did skim and skip it once. We knew that. The G's you have to disregard because the external flight model that the A2A simulations does throws off the G reading. But 113 was the number that registered, so not terrible. And yeah, the METAR was reporting that there was no wind, so runway direction was up to us. I thought that the approaching over the lake would be more fun because you come in at that angle and then have to straighten it out at the last second. So that was indeed fun. 113 was the number that registered. And like I said, I'm not terribly displeased with it. It was just a little sloppy. Where were your guesses? You guys came in with 75. A couple of you came in at 75. We had a 63. We had a 95. We had an 80. And yeah, so that will be it. It was the 95 from Bed Dave is going to be the winner there. Unless there was somebody I'm missing. Anybody coming higher than Bed Dave at 95? Otherwise, going once, going twice. Okay, Bed Dave at L35 on 212. All right, well, thanks very kindly, Cross Hyperu, with the very generous raid. We got some folks coming in from the Cross raid to say hi to. Yeah, I was a little bit busy when you guys came in, so I apologize for not saying a little bit more timely hello. But we got we got Flare Wind and Full Metal, and everybody else came over from Hyperu's raid. We appreciate you being here. So yeah, overall, I feel like we definitely cheated the curse. Flight number 1 was from Santa Barbara out to Catalina Island, and I think that that was extremely well executed and had no real glitches or problems with that. And yeah, and we had VATSIM air traffic control from Los Angeles Center and SoCal approach as well, and I think everything went pretty smoothly with all of our interactions with them. And the Bravo transition right over LAX. We had a nice departure coming out right underneath us as we crossed over top of LAX, which was awesome. I mean, that's just really the beauty of those Los Angeles VFR Bravo transitions, is going right over top the center of the airport when they've got traffic coming in and out. So that was just majestic to see. Glad that we got a good view of that as we came over top. So that was awesome. Of course, the controllers are stellar. The controllers in SoCal and in Los Angeles ARTCC are just absolutely on point. And they had quite a number of us coming in and out of Catalina Island to contend with in terms of a few doing Bravo transitions and then the rest of the flight following stuff as well. So kudos to them for managing all of that with all of their arrivals into Los Angeles and San Diego alike. We could hear both going on. And yeah, they did a great job just managing all of that. So thanks to Jet Pilot Cinnamon for putting together the air traffic control coverage for us, and for just really for reaching out ahead of time a number of weeks ago. I can't remember exactly when it was, but JPC, the founder of the Virtual USA Flying Club, basically said, "Hey Rob, I want to put together an event for you, and I'm looking for him in the middle of February to do it." And he initially had said he does a recurring one that he calls Make Mike Sweat, which he'll staff up a Class Delta airfield and invite come one come all, just really see how many people can arrive all at the same time and just make them go nuts. And we were going to do Make Rob Sweat for our event. But then I looked at the calendar and I was like, well, Mike, it's gonna coincide with my annual stream trip out to Catalina Island. So I said, I don't know if I can do a Make Rob Sweat. I really want to do that Catalina trip. I do it every year on the stream. This is the eighth annual trip to Catalina Island. And he said, well, what do you think about doing that as a group flighter? I can't remember if that was my idea. Here's his idea. I might have said, well, Mike, I got to do that trip to Catalina Island, so it's not going to work for a Make Rob Sweat. but how about we do the Catalina trip as a group event? I said I'd be happy to write up a briefing and give some pointers for that. So that's the direction that we took. So there we go. And I mean, we call it the Catalina Curse because every time I've done this trip, not every time, almost every time that I've done this trip, some sort of glitch or mishap or weather situation happens. This island is really known for some aggressive fog banks that move in with zero notice and that ambush you. If we ambushed by a fog bank, I feel like I ought to give that to Melvin and make him make a Suno song for us. Ambushed by a fog bank would describe many of our attempts to get to Catalina. But yeah, this one worked out great. Weather cooperated for the most part. The cloud bases got a little low coming out and up here to Big Bear. But for the event, they worked out pretty perfectly, and so we made it a club event. I think we had 15 or so that participated. The event window still goes another half an hour technically. So yeah, about 15 or so from what I kind of heard, just informally taking account. And so we provided some information about the airport. We provided some information about how to get there safely across the water, Class Bravo transitions, operations at the airport. Of course, we also had the guide that the airport itself publishes, which isn't linked in here, but somebody found for us and posted in the Discord channel for the club, and gave us that. But it basically just said the same thing here about you want to come in on a right-hand pattern to runway 22. So, and then, so our second trip today was up to Big Bear Airport. So we did two kind of resort location with unique arrivals. And so that was fun. It worked out well, though. No glitches. We had the glitch a few weeks ago. We had the glitch with our vintage cross the something trip, our vintage cross the inside passage from Anchorage down to SeaTac. We had to completely scrub that entire day, which was really, really disappointing, but happy to know that the glitches and the curse that we experienced for that trip then relieved us of the duty of having to endure and suffer the effects of a curse for this trip. So, all's well that ends well. At least tonight worked out super well. And thanks for those who rode along. Thanks for those who flew along. Good times were had by many. All right, let's see who we're going to send a raid over here to. Jeffrey B is still up and running. Looks like he's doing a FS economy flight at this point. I heard him earlier doing this event, so looks like he's moved on to something else. DYS to FDR, I'm not sure where that is, but doing some general aviation flying. So we'll send you over to Jeffrey. That was fun, man. Have a great night, says Melvin Leroy. Melvin, good to see you. Always good to hear you. Hope that you had a good trip into Catalina. Yeah, this is a fun one, and just blessed that there was no curse this time. So glad that you could join and enjoy the trip as well. We'll send you over to Jeffrey B. So that'll be the plan. All right, guys. Well, we are curse. What curse? Right? The curse was a few weeks ago, right, Melvin? I think you had a curse on that same trip a few weeks ago. But anyway, we'll send the raid over to Jeffrey B. He's on a brief hiatus right now, but he'll be right back. So if he's not there when we get the raid finished, just wait and say your hellos when he's back in the seat. But we'll go ahead and trigger that. Guys, we're typically on this channel. Oh, I'll tell you what. Before we do all that, let me go ahead and get the rest of the shutdown done. We'll get a raid going over to Jeffrey, and maybe he'll be back in the cockpit by the time I finish all this up. So radio's off, transponder off. We're already squawking VFR. We got the ADF radio off. We can turn the master avionics switch off, and then we'll go ahead and pull the throttles down, and then pull the mix, mags, and fuel. And then how'd we do on fuel? Oh, we had plenty left. Alright, and then so let's go ahead and pop the latch here. Pop the door. We get everything off. Yeah, so nav lights and beacon lights and battery. We'll do a little quick hop out and we'll put all the static elements back on. But anyway, so while we're doing that, guys, we are typically on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, which is midnight Zulu time. So that's when you can find us. Now, tonight we were off of that normal schedule. However, tomorrow we are back on that normal schedule. We're going to do a day in the life of a corporate charter pilot in that FlySimware Lear 35. Got some control issues to sort out tonight, and maybe tomorrow, if I get off of work early, we'll get the control issues sorted out. But looking forward to another fantastic trip. We're doing what we call a day in the life of a corporate charter pilot. So we have a fixed base of operation that our fictional charter company works from. I'm going to squeeze around here. My fat butt might not fit in there. So we got a fixed base of operation where our charter operation will start and end, but we will take the plane from there to the group pickup points. That'll be leg 1. Leg 2 is we will take the group from there to their drop-off point. That'll be leg 2. And then finally we will take the plane back to its base of operation. That'll be leg 3. So a 3-hopper tomorrow. The Fort Worth ARTCC is hosting what they call the Feel the Love event. So Feel the Love Friday Night Ops event happening tomorrow. Our very good friends at the Fort Worth ARTCC, and so they will be staffing up a bunch of Texas for us, and so that's where we're going to be flying tomorrow in that Lear. So yeah, I think at this point we don't need to even. Do we need to get back into the plane for anything? I don't think we do. We can close it and latch it from the outside. And, yeah, there we go. I don't think anybody else is coming here. So we can tip the camera up a little bit. There we go. Nice one to go out on. All right, friends. Well, we'll get that raid started. So we'll see you tomorrow. Like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a normal schedule, but since we were off our schedule tonight, we will be back on our normal schedule tomorrow. So less than 24 hours away. So, in fact, less than 20 hours away. We'll be right back here. So make sure you join us. We FlySimware Lear 35 from the Lear 35 from FlySimware. Indeed, is where we'll be. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and send you over to our very good friend Jeffrey B, and we will talk to you again in a few hours. All right? Between now and then, do be happy, healthy, and safe in your own travels and adventures, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again for flying along. Take care.